Initron.
Oh, it's taking forever.
Wait, connect to the Initron?
The Innitrons. It should be.
It live is blurry. Audio check it, check. Mic check, check. Audio check.
Better. Should we start waiting for people to come in?
Yeah, we'll wait just so we're not.
I'll wait and drink tea. Peace and love.
Peace.
Somebody said first. I second on the chat though.
Tag, you're it. Peace.
It is dope though.
Huh?
It is dope that people, you know, yeah.
Back.
We're happy to be back.
Let's go, Moors. Peace. Everybody. Share the video out. Telling people to share the video.
Yep. Share it on Instagram.
Like and
on
share.
Facebook.
Oh, we sound like YouTubers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Subscribe here. I know.
No, don't do it.
No, but I mean, go in your social media and post that we're going live so we can get more people in the conversation.
I'm actually doing that on Facebook right now.
Somebody said we back.
We are back. We couldn't last the full 24 hours.
I know. I know. We actually miss doing Saturday class. We really do. Yeah.
People, info, stuff.
Miss the interaction with the online people.
Oh man, you know, I was thinking the other day, yesterday, like how great it would be to finally meet like all the people
Online.
that let us know like what we're doing actually helps them or inspires them. Like what if they were like what if we got to see their faces and.
What you talking about? A testimonial video?
No, I just mean like if you met them.
We're trying to build more.
If we ever got to the point where
We're trying to
like
get people to come out.
we
and
had
visit
large groups all over,
and stay.
I would love to go on a tour just to meet everybody. That would be so much fun. Yeah.
So many great people that we don't have connection with because it's on social media.
Yeah.
Not real life interaction.
I want to see their life. I want to see how they get sauced up where they are. Like, what's their style?
How they ride, how they find information, how they study.
What's their group's customs?
Yeah.
Still, how do they greet each other? Because we already fall into that. Because we greet each other, hugs down here, really. And then, like,
we'll do some formal stuff.
When we go to other places, it's a little more formal.
Yeah. And there's certain people that we'll do certain handshakes with.
Secret handshakes.
Yeah. Just because. Like, we gotta take that's gang stuff. We gotta take that back to that's our code. That's just what we do. What comment saying?
We're just all falling in and
peace.
Already starting
Peace.
Islam.
Welcome. Come on in. We have candy here.
Come.
Hansel and Gretel.
Treats.
I have candy.
Come to our more city.
And you have jurisprudence.
We got vegan cookies.
So,
you want me to get started about what prompted this live?
Kick it off.
So, basically, the Duchess. Can I say your name? Yeah. Julissa over here started a woman. I know.
You're gonna give it all. You're gonna give out my whole.
Julissa. Blankety blank.
My free national.
I know your name is. Her name's dope. Bank accounts. But anyway, Julissa started a women's auxiliary chat group on Instagram, which is popping. Everybody's participating and sharing, and the topic came up about what women should, what women would like to see or hear about as far as topics go. And somebody brought up nationality and proclaiming nationality for children. So that got the three of us started on a chat, and we decided to share the chat with everyone.
Yes.
So, to start.
So, what is your nationality? what is it? It is your bloodline. Literally, the word nation is derived from the Latin word. I'm not going to pronounce it, but it's Latin. It means to be born.
Nasties.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I butchered it in my other videos. You can just figure that out by getting any etymology dictionary. I'll tell you. So it literally means to be born. And they'll say in certain dictionaries, a group of people of common descent. So that's the bloodline. So in order to proclaim your nationality and declare your nationality, you just say, I am this. When it comes to putting on the county record or any record, that's just proof within these people's system because we're occupied right now. Because in all actuality, you kind of jump into like this. I'm already starting this conversation,
right.
Just so you know. Like,
and adding questions as you have them, so
yes,
that way we can
So I
talk
don't
about
want to
some
go past.
of these things.
I don't want to go over anyone's head. And I don't want to try to seem like I'm taking over the conversation. But when people ask things like that, it's clear that they're missing concepts of certain things. So your nationality is your bloodline. You can't really just take out your blood. Like, all right, put this on the record.
Well, the easiest thing for me to like relate it or help other people understand is relate it to Asian people.
Yeah.
They don't proclaim their nationality.
Yep.
They're Asian, and that's what
Chinese,
they are.
I'm Korean.
Yeah.
I'm this.
They just
And
tell you.
You don't ask them, well, did your mom put something on the county when you came here?
Mm-hmm.
Or let me see your nationality card.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say any of that. It's just, okay, this is where the idea of free and accepted comes into play when they say, oh, I'm Korean. So you just accept it now.
Yeah, it's literally a mental and a verbal claim.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your claim is.
So, but people miss the point that, like, they'll ask, how do we make our children not wards of the state? Well, do you know what a ward is? And do you know what a state is?
Mm-hmm.
So a ward is an infant or a person of unsound mind.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, when they're an infant, they're a ward, but they're your ward.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be a ward of our state.
Mm-hmm.
The state is a group of people bound by common law. Now, I don't know off the top of my head, but let me just read it from Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. Boom. On page 1262. So the state is a noun. A people permanently occupying a fixed territory, bound together by common law. What's that common law? Or common descent.
Mm-hmm.
Habits and customs into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government, independent sovereignty and control over persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace and of entering into international relations with other communities of the globe. Which, when you study what that is, you see that that's exactly what Noble Drew established, or like seeded and started to germinate, and like the state would be the tree, and he made that plant. You know what I'm saying? So if you start seeing like these Moorish temples are regencies, and they're supposed to be our towns, like, because the nation isn't where it should be right now. So when you look up the word town, the definition of town, it's a subdivision of a municipal city, but it can do the same thing as a city. So county records. So then we can put like, I don't know if the people are tracking. I hope they're tracking.
Saying Islam, peace more.
Is this making sense to the people? Because I don't want to go any further.
Yeah, give us some feedback.
So basically, once we're in this area, we're gonna have to have our own records.
Right.
Just like when you see images of the prophet in the temple, he has a filing cabinet because they had records. You know what I'm saying? So we can put records of ownership of certain properties. We can put records of what we're insured for.
A lot of cultures have a recorder.
Yeah. And that's within their community. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. So instead of us going to the Europeans and file something on their records and they're asking for fiat, oh, come to this Moorish town hall and then file your stuff on the record for nothing because you're a Moor, you have your own business, and that business is paying its taxes to the government, so it's not coming out of your paycheck. It's coming out of your business. So this is the idea that people need to get out of their minds that taxation is theft. It's taxation without representation is theft. Because in this Moorish town, you have say and your vote matters. That's why the prophet was talking about a free national ballot within your state where people bound by common law, which you live. You know what I'm saying? So in this territory, Narragansett, the areas of Moors here, we have the right to cast a free national ballot amongst the Moors here. But if we try to go to somewhere else in a different territory, that's not our state. Although we can still cast a free national ballot once we inhabit those lands. You know what I'm saying? That's how that works. And then the prophet talked about, he always talked about a free national government. And when you compare that to what the United States is, you see that the United States is not a national government. It's a federal government, which that alone tells you we can't vote in that system. Right. So he has to be talking about our government, because then he'll say free national government and then say citizens of said government. Said government means the government that was mentioned prior, which is that free national government. You know what I'm saying? But people will take what he said and say you could vote in the United States, but not making the distinction that the United States isn't the corporation company. The organic United States of America is really the Barbary states, meaning the Moorish states, which he reestablished. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like people are missing all of that and just thinking, well, we're still citizens of the Europeans. Even though the prophet said it himself, the 14th and 15th Amendment is not necessary for the salvation of our people, which the 14th Amendment is what granted black citizenship, which now, modernly, right now, Trump is saying we're getting rid of just solely or birthright citizenship, which if you study most of these Europeans, a lot of them, they're descendants of immigrants who came here via Ellis Island during the late 1800s, early 1900s. So he's removing their citizenship, which is helping us. So it's kind of like reaching out, but all of that pertains to nationality and not being a ward of the state. Because now you're displaying mental competence. Because you can't say I'm a nation, right? The Moorish nation. You can't say I'm part of the Moorish nation. And then vote within the United States Corporation Company, which is suppressing your nation. Right. That clearly shows you're incompetent. You know what I'm saying? And then people will say, well, in this article, the prophet said vote. Yes, within your free national government. Right. The United States is not your government. Is everyone tracking? Yeah. Is everyone in the chat tracking? And don't believe what I'm saying. Look it up. Look up the Chicago Defender and look up the Moorish Guide, and you'll see it. And then look it up in the law book: national government and federal government. And they're two different things. It's not complicated. But knowing that is what makes you not a ward. Because now you can competently make a sound decision like, I'm going to vote that person and not that person. Not because that person's swaying me or not because whatever. It's based on competence. That's what you hold people to, competence, not, I don't know what people hold people to. Now I want to read the definition of town. Is everyone tracking in the chat? I don't want to waste time.
Act 4, Divine Constitution. They came in drones. Peace and love, fam.
So this is why, huh?
I was just saying that.
Jamal, you're talking pretty quick. I'm trying to follow though. Please post this.
It's gonna be posted so you can watch it again. I apologize when I get in the zone, like I go fast because that's how fast my thoughts are coming. So I'm trying to give it to you how I'm
give it while it's hot.
Yeah. How I'm frying pan. So basically, this is basically it.
Yeah, they said you must know with all your mind and your soul and your heart that you are more.
Yeah.
Like domiciles in the land of Maghrib.
Yeah, like you ain't telling no Korean person they're not Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I came back from the military, my neighbor, she's Chinese. I told her I was in the military, I was in Japan for 2 years. She's like, oh, back a long time ago, Japanese people and Chinese people, they're the same. Mm-hmm. Same. I was like, yeah, I know, and they know that too. Mm-hmm. But they still have the right to call themselves Japanese. But they still know that they're still Chinese. Right. You know what I'm saying? But since we have the right to self-determination, they can say that they're Japanese. Mm-hmm. And no one can say anything about it. Right. Because that's what they're claiming to be. They have that right to do so. So we have the right to not be proud. Mm-hmm. and you wouldn't ask a Chinese person or a Korean person, let me see your nationality card.
Yep. Let me make sure.
Let me make sure you got it from the right temple. Like, get out of here with that. That's stupid. If you really were competent and you really weren't trying to get power over people, which power is not real, then you wouldn't ask stupid things like that. Because as soon as I was born, I was me. So what more do you want? Like, you don't need a piece of paper certifying that I was born. Because look at this. That's proof. How else did I get here? Stupid.
How am I here?
But having that for a family record, for your trust, and so your heirs can see a lineage to great whoever, that's a different story.
And it's funny that we even put up with that, because any other nation, if you go to them and say, well, try to argue the fact that they're anything other than what they say they are, they're going to look at you like you're stupid.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. What? Mm-hmm. What do you mean? You're going to argue the fact that I'm an Asian or that I'm Chinese? Why am I even talking to you? Because your opinion on who I know I am doesn't matter. Yeah.
Your opinion about a fact is irrelevant.
So now you look like an insane person arguing with a sane person. I told you what I was. Like, I don't need to waste my day.
Yeah, don't even. And a lot of this conversation is very broad. But I don't want to seem like we have no direction. But this topic affects so many things. Like when even a lot of our conversations talk about when we talk to people, like when I try to teach my family, they don't get it. Don't force it. That's one thing I had to learn early. Like, especially I wanted to tell my mother all of this stuff, but I had to realize I had to shut the hell up so I can maintain a relationship with my mother that's not tampered by anything. It's just mother son. We always.
Because you're still the same people.
Yeah, exactly. We're still the same people. It's just I know something now. So I can't allow that. We can't allow that to affect our relationship with our families, because then we just like outcast them, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do
for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's funny though, because family starts to come around when you're confident in your knowledge. They really do come around, because your mom has been coming around.
I don't want to. Damn, I really want to speak.
Well, don't get into it.
I know. I really want to speak about that because that is so powerful. You know what I mean? Like that's what people are needing. That information, but like I give it to them, but I can't tell them exactly what that information is. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think after a certain amount of time, I can release that document and show them like they really don't want this.
Yeah.
You gotta be violent. Nothing.
No.
Just look. But I want to read the definition of a town, because we keep talking about a Moorish town. So what's the benefit of a Moorish town? Same thing as the temple. The temple is the regency. It's the government. It's where you do things, right? So a town is a civil and political division of a state, varying in extent and importance, but usually one of the divisions of a county. In the New England states, which this ain't New England, the town is the political unit and is a municipal corporation. In some other states, where the county is the unit, the town is merely one of its subdivisions, but possesses some powers of local self-government. Don't we need self-government? In still other states, such subdivisions of a county are called townships, and towns is the name of a village, borough, or similar city. The word town is quite commonly used as a generic term and as including both cities and villages. So a town is also a city and a village. It all depends on how it's being operated. You know what I'm saying? And then let's look up town clerk. In those states where the town is the unit for local self-government, which is what we're trying to establish, the town clerk is a principal officer, meaning they're elected by the people, a registrar, who keeps the records, issues calls for town meetings, and performs generally the duties of a secretary to the political organization. So as an example, let's say in the Trust Law 102 video, when they see the video, they're gonna learn how to basically have insurance on, let's say, I don't want to get too much of the video out because, let's say homeowners insurance.
Look out for Trust Law 102.
Yeah, I don't want to hold anything from the people, but also I can't give them. Let's say you want insurance on your laptop, and you've been watching Rise of the Moors, and you've been listening when we said get silver. Silver's worth $613 right now. Let's say you get a $500 laptop, and let's say for whatever reason you're using it for business, for whatever business that you have going on, and it needs to be insured. You can put on this Morris County that we have now, right? You can put this laptop, serial number, blah, 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 is insured by 1 ounce of silver worth $600. So now if it's stolen or lost, that silver pays for that. So secured. So now you have a security. So now you put that on the public record. Exactly. So now you put that on the public record. You get a copy, and now everyone knows that that piece of property is secured and has insurance. And you do the same thing with a car. So now no one can pull you over and say, well, you don't have insurance. Which, I mean, I'm basically telling you that's law 102.
I was going to say.
But, I mean, there's more to it that I'm not getting into. But having a town, that helps facilitate that, which is government. Which Charlie said he's going to leave them here long enough for us to learn how to run government. So what should we be doing?
Learning how to run government.
Because, again, that goes back into the United States is really the Barbary states. A state is really a group of people bound together by common law. And then in the Constitution it says, I'm trying not to speak fast, let me slow down. In the Constitution it says, where one state exists, you can't erect another state. Because now we're dealing with physics. Two things can't occupy the same space at once.
Two people can't sit in the same seat.
Exactly. So if there's a Moorish town here, guess what happened to these Europeans? They got to go somewhere else. Now that's reverse gentrification.
But we have to actually establish a town to be like, okay, now we're in a position where we're sitting in the same seat. So now we have to get into who has the rightful claim of this seat.
And we already know who does. So now, that in itself, that community, that organization, that structure, those governmental principles, alleviates us being wards of their state. Because there's nothing wrong with being a ward of a state. It's just how you're treated now.
Just status. So be a ward of a state that has your best interests
in mind. That's a national government. That's a free national government. Because if we see someone who's mentally incompetent, we're not going to drag them through the ringer and extract fiat out of them. You know what I mean? Because they're us. So we would be able to protect our own people that way. And provide housing from them that they ain't getting screwed and you gotta go to this temp agency so you can get this temporary job. So now your rent's only $1, but then you get fired every day from that job, and now your rent's high, and you gotta ask for your family members to borrow money and all that crap. That's genocide. So to end that, we need more town. Which the Prophet helped establish that, which is what these temples are supposed to be. So if you are in a temple and they're not calling town hall meetings, everything's wrong.
He said, right, Jamal, physics and civics.
Because we're more scientists, right? All right, so we have to deal with physics and math,
astrology,
cosmology, reading, writing, grammar, syntax, semantics, because all of that is Egyptian science. Anyway, so this principle of all of these people, all like a Moorish town, 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, 50 people. That will also help alleviate, again, like I said on camera, of the mothers worrying about their heirs being wards of the state. Because now you're having home births. So now you don't need a birth certificate. You can just put in your Quran or your Bible or your Torah or whatever, on this date, this child was born at this time, boom, 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 boom.
You know
that
what?
person has a connection to that family.
Can we just speak on that for a minute?
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's been a couple people, a couple families, a couple women that message like while they're in the hospital, trying to be forced to sign a birth certificate, and that's not what they want. And
stop going to them.
It not just stop going to them. Plan ahead,
right?
Because it's very hard to help somebody when they're in this situation. And we're people, we have lives. We don't exactly get to the message as soon as it's sent because we have obligations and families too. So, once you find out you're pregnant, start looking for that doula.
Or learn how to do it, or have your husband, house servant. Husband, house servant, have him learn how to do it.
Start planning for that. How you pack a bag for the hospital, you get your child's room ready, all those steps, looking for what your options of birthing is and what's feasible, realistic for your family, whatever you guys choose, have that as a plan also, because the last minute thing, it hurts not to be able to help people. So and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do in that situation when you're out there alone and
you're already in the hospital.
Asking for help. I don't.
Especially if you're not in our Moorish town, where we can't just go to the hospital and get you out.
I don't have, Mufti force to go send over there for you.
That's what I'm saying.
So please start planning ahead of time and make that a conversation for the family.
Which once we start to even begin to organize, our military is there. They just don't know it. They think that they're U.S. citizens like I did, and the other half think that they're gang members. You know what I'm saying? So all you gotta do is get them on the right track.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be a conversation in the family. For the women and for the men, if you're teaching your family, because we have a lot of men, then bring that up. See if your partner's interested.
Oh, can we talk about the balance of the masculine and feminine? How real feminism is women are equal to men. That doesn't mean that if you're a feminist you have to
belittle or take away from masculinity. Being a feminist doesn't mean taking away. It means
doesn't mean you don't need men.
Yeah, it's a counterbalance. You add equally, and it doesn't mean. I just don't get that. That doesn't mean we're gonna sit here and have an arm wrestle match. Genetically, you have more muscle than me, but in other ways, I'm stronger. Yeah,
right.
No, we're just balanced.
Stronger in your upper body, and we're stronger in our lower body, and that's
science.
Yeah. So to add anything else is just retarded.
Yeah.
That means
let's stop butting heads about. And I just bring physical stuff up because it's the easy example.
It's the easy thing to comprehend.
So,
but in all honesty, if we're being really honest, women have like more mental capacity for certain things.
Yeah, and I don't want to hurt no feelings.
But hold on, but that's the problem. Men are too effing sensitive when it comes to that. Like I know, I'm not dumb. I stay in my lane. Men stay in your lane. Women stay in your lane. The problem is we keep trying to be in each other's lane. Like that's. We
keep trying to conquer each other's lane and say we could take this whole highway and nobody can get past us. Like, let's do that. Let's control these highways.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, we need to stop butting heads.
So,
any questions?
Peace Moors, yes. Thumbs up Moors.
The birth certificates. They sell kits, home birth kits online where you have, the birth certificates. And I mean, this isn't anything new. We've practiced these ways since the dawn of time. We didn't have
a book on home births, just so they can have a source.
Let me go see.
I think you do. I think I did see it.
Another
library in your house. If you don't have a library in your house, you're already wrong.
Yeah, get rid of the TV and just put a library instead.
Yeah, you don't really need a TV. I mean, I have a TV.
We watch TV, we play video games, but it's not all the time.
Yeah. It used to be
wild.
Like 13 hours straight video games.
Yeah. I wish we could talk about what we just worked on. Because this value and imagination.
Well, it's a book. We can talk briefly about it. It's a book showing a Moorish story written by Moors.
Yeah.
Showing the empowerment of Moors. You don't have it?
No, the one I have is the one that's over there.
That's still a good source.
You think so?
Yeah. So Eagle Wildin' Now.
Just so we can give them a source like this book talks about.
And start looking into herbal medicines like what were we studying? Mugwort, moxibustion. Chinese people do a thing called moxibustion where they crush up mugwort and they use it. They burn it and use it at the feet of the women, and it turns around the baby for breech births. It helps them right themselves.
Smoking them out.
Yeah.
I was reading that strawberry and raspberry leaf help induce pregnancy. Like, don't take it after you get pregnant, but take it like when you're about to go in labor. So drink it when you're trying to get pregnant, and then drink it when you're about to go in labor. It helps induce pregnancy and labor.
Yeah, this is definitely
and it helps for menstrual cycles.
Right.
I have raspberry and strawberry in my garden. I was giving it to my mother. That's kind of personal, but it helped.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Because if we don't take care of women, then we're failing. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Very true. Let's see. Y'all energy's fire. True.
Gang,
Eagle wilding out.
Eagle wilding out.
No, that was the past when we were talking about women and men butting heads and trying to beat in each other's lane.
Yeah, trying to take over each other's
role. Yeah. Because somebody else unnecessary competition.
Right.
Real talk.
Right.
Squad.
A lot of that, just touching back on that feminism stuff too. A lot of that, is very. First of all, can we just talk about how this was like a European movement? First of all, so we'll get that out of the way.
And if you look at the leading people in
cause division,
and
right.
if you look up feminism, you're gonna see a lot of European women.
Yes, because they right. Anyway, so take that with a grain of salt. Also, it pushes that more, and then there's some harsh women, right, who think, oh, well, we don't need these men.
Mm-hmm.
These men already feel like we don't need them, but we need you. We need each other. So just don't get so all up in, in the whole feminist power. And men can do it too, where they get into their macho thing.
So can we talk about the distinction between what the definition of feminism is and what they're doing? The connotative, denotative.
Right.
Men, I'm a feminist. Because women are equal,
right.
Separate but equal. Just like men are separate but equal. It's the whole, we are better than men. That's not feminism.
Right.
That's ego on 1,000.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And that's the true difference.
Also, each individual is different. So, for instance, in general, women are more caring. That doesn't mean that a man can't be caring to his children, and a certain man or types of men can do it very well. But in general, everybody has different aspects that they're good at, but there's some things that women are generally better at, and there's some things that our men are generally better at, but that doesn't mean that there's exceptions for each person.
I consider myself to have like a strong divine feminine energy in me because I grew up in a house full of women. I remember I was first teaching this more stuff and how like we can be empowered as men to have this information, fight for our mother's houses, fight for our auntie's houses, our grandmother's houses with these allodial claims, protect our mothers, right? Because my mother's very important to me. And I was telling a group of brothers, dudes, all this information, and like the energy was high, and I was getting all excited because like they were with it, like, let's fight these people.
Right.
So I was hugging them. I was excited, and they were like, "What's up with that gay shit?" I'm like, first of all, I like women, so why can't I give you a hug? What's wrong with a hug? So that's something that's in our men that's sick. Like I know straight up, I love women. So if I hug a dude, it's just a hug. Like what? Like why can't we express that form of you're my brother, I can give you a hug? Why does it always have to revert to that's homosexual behavior? If we both have the divine masculine and feminine energy, it doesn't make sense. Like if you know you're straight, what are you worried about hug for? That kind of seems like you're questioning yourself.
And it's so funny. Other nations the men hug each other because it's not even a question where they're it's not even a question of masculinity.
My dad don't cheat. He don't cheat. That's my father. Like that's my dad. That's my father. It'd be weird if I didn't show him love.
Right.
Somebody named a book Fatal Misconception.
Too, right? To not show each other love, to not have that physical love for each other.
Also, my father was in the house. So
it's funny. That's something that one of my brothers, the oldest one, started. He purposely started with our younger brother telling him I love you and make it normal. And now my younger brother tells all of his sons I love you. So it's like something we had to start on our own.
Normalize love amongst men.
Yeah, like my dad, me and my dad were playing phone tag for a little bit, and I heard his voicemail and it made me happy. So I texted him, I heard your voice, it made me feel good today, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, I know exactly what you're talking about because when I heard your voicemail, it made me feel the same way. Then it was just, I love you, son, I love you, dad, I'm proud of you, thank you, I appreciate that. And then I just carried on my day. It doesn't have to be can I just hug you, dad, and let me just give a hug, and let's just talk about it. Like, nah, it was just, it can end there, it can be more than that, depending on the father-son relationship, the mother-daughter relationship, the mother-son relationship. It doesn't have to be this is on TV and this is what a relationship's supposed to be like. Because for a while, with me and my mother, I was like, I wish our relationship was like this. But then I really had to draw back and like, the relationship I have with my mother is great. like really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that until I seen other people not having
Yep.
what I have on my mother.
That's our whole family.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that our family is very loving.
Mm-hmm.
And very close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that breeds a Moorish town. let's just make that connection. And that wasn't far fetched.
Somebody says society always portrays that as a weakness.
Come to this love. Divine masculine and divine feminine. No holds barred.
Somebody said society always portrays that as a weakness, and being homosexual, men aren't supposed to express their
or
feelings. Yep, and or emotions.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true.
I remember I was in boot camp and my dad was getting deployed to Afghanistan before my graduation date.
Mm-hmm.
So he came early.
Mm-hmm.
And the top drill instructor booked me in the back. I was like, I'm about to get fucking slayed right now. Like, what did I just do?
You about to get kicked in the throat.
That's what I'm saying, because I went back there. Drill instructor hold me up by the neck, so I'm like, I'm not trying to fuck up no more.
I know you told me some stories.
Yeah, and it wasn't even
you
my
told
fault.
me about some lights out training.
It wasn't even my fault. Anyway, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Take me downstairs where the drill instructor's on. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, killed or some shit. And like the way like the light was shining and my dad was there, and I just came back from the Crucible,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a few day event of no sleep,
I've
and
heard.
marching and all night, and all day, and you only ate once and like all this crazy stuff.
You literally have to stay awake the whole time and they make like scenarios happen.
And like you got to sleep with your weapon
Mm-hmm.
because the drill instructor would go in the middle of the night, try to steal it from you because they're training you for combat, not to let. Anyway, so all this is happening right out of boot camp, 3 months, blah blah blah. My dad walks in and we just start crying.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yo, like you're my dad, and I'm seeing you after 3 months.
Especially he's got some type of, because it's military,
Yeah.
know what you're going through to come and see you.
But he was in the Air Force.
The Chair Force.
That's what I'm saying.
Chair Force.
I was in the Marines.
Hopefully, Dad's not watching.
It was kind of like, what's cracking? but that and my father and I to this day,
over here.
we share that memory often. Like we talk about it, like because it was so intense. Like I never like that connection was so real. Like wow.
Yeah.
Like for some reason I was like, you came all the way out here to see me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's fine to be a male and have emotions with your father.
Yes.
And
it's fine to be a male and have emotions, period.
Yeah, period.
And it's not homosexual.
The whole men don't cry thing needs to be trashed.
I cried in class one day. Because I was talking about how our people are homeless, and we got these so-called Indian chiefs with Indian councils, and there's no reason why any brown skinned person should be homeless on their own homeland.
So we should get
back to talking.
Yeah.
Get back to the topic of concept of nationality.
Yes. But all
do you want to do specific with children? Because that was really the core of the question. Do children need to
yourself as a Moor? Well, your child is what you are.
Yes. So you don't have to put anything on the record for your child because your child is growing up knowing what they are. So it's not your situation anymore. It's you made your situation better for them. So now you get to tell them you ain't a crayon. You're a Moor. So now as soon as they turn competent, I'm talking about age-wise, and hopefully you've been teaching them now they're mentally competent, then they can just say, oh yeah, I'm a Moor. And hopefully by that time, you've moved to a Moorish town and we made some changes for these children.
I mean,
so let's talk, schematics and practicality. Logistics. So your child's in school. I'm sorry.
No, go.
Your child's in school, and there's just a diversity of citizenship issue, and you go down there, and your kid's not black. Your child's a Moor. So it's not necessary to have paperwork for them because here's mom or dad.
Right.
I'm a Moor. What did you think my child was?
It's okay to have proclamation papers, but it's unnecessary.
Yep. And then even if you have your own papers, if you need to see I'm a Moor, here's my ID from my government. Here's my papers from my government. Here's my proclamation. My child doesn't need to go through that because obviously my child from my blood is the same thing as me.
That I am.
Mm-hmm.
Birth certificate can have, you know, witness signatures.
You can write your own birth certificate.
Yes.
A Moorish birth certificate.
Yes.
Which the temple can facilitate that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessary.
Nope. And even if you don't want to take that route, if you're building a family and you're getting into bed, that's a conversation that you need to have and create these documents for the family that you're building. So you have plenty of time to make that.
So in the Quran with the Q, it talks about, like from a male perspective, finding a woman with faith is better. Finding a poor woman with faith is better than having a rich woman with no faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're a male and you're procreating with a woman and she's not on the Moorish stuff and she's like, I'm getting my child vaccinated. Right. I'm having this regular hospital birth. Mm-hmm. You're putting your family in a bad situation. Mm-hmm. So it would make more sense. This is where you got to put emotions aside to not reproduce with a woman who's already not with it. Mm-hmm. Because now you're purposely, knowingly putting yourself in a messed up situation.
And the same thing for these women. Mm-hmm. Stop sleeping with these men that don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. And if you already have children and they've already had a U.S. birth certificate, make a new one. Mm-hmm. Make a new one. Because you know when your child was born because it came from you. Yep. And that's
at least you should.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
Because some of these women
lift up your shirt and show me shirt marks.
Well, based on carbon dating, that's like the rings of a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to the women with stretch marks. That means you did something, aka you brought a life here.
Facts. Somebody said facts.
Do they have questions?
No, they're just,
Now's the time. If you do have any questions.
So the town is the municipal vehicle that the Moors here would use to administrate our government. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't have to go pay no 50 notes for the first page of an affidavit and then one extra note per additional page. Mm-hmm. It would be, we already have elected officials here. Mm-hmm. So you have to recognize our official documents. Mm-hmm. No questions. Mm-hmm. Because we already elected these officials. Mm-hmm. And then just as the Prophet had it set up, he went to Cuba and they recognized him as a foreign diplomat. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? As a head of state. Mm-hmm. Also in the rights of indigenous people, it says that these Europeans have to respect who we elect. Mm-hmm. Meaning that's an entirely separate voting process, which again substantiates the fact that we can't vote within their system. Mm-hmm. Right. Because we're an entirely separate government. Yep. Which in the Dred Scott case, it says blacks shall not be citizens. 13th Amendment, Section 12, the descendants of Africans shall not be citizens. Mm-hmm. Congressional record, 14th Amendment is null and void.
Yes.
Right.
Like it's
and
you can't vote. And
we have to let them know that. Like what happened today when we went to the library?
Yeah, so a European was like, "Hey, you want to vote?" I was like, "I can't vote because I'm not a citizen of a European state." Mm-hmm. Or a European company doing business on my land. I can't be a citizen of that. Mm-hmm. So I can't have a voice in that. Mm-hmm. Now I can see that person is supporting the Constitution within their corrupt system. Mm-hmm. I'll talk to you. I'll shake hands with you, but I can't vote you into office.
No,
it's crossing the lines.
No, yeah. I hope you get there because I'd rather talk to you.
Yeah, because when
we have to interact.
Because when I write you these writs, I know you know, and you spoke to me. Yep. And I know where you live. Best believe, hey, remember that real certified mail? What's up?
Yeah.
That's the power that we have when we have Moors here.
Community.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's relate that to a concept. Mm-hmm. If you have your house and you guys are voting on what you're gonna have for dinner, and I have my house, should I be going over to your house even though I'm not eating dinner there? Voting on what you're going to have for dinner?
No.
Concept.
And then again, no taxation without representation. How are these people representing us and killing us at the same time? Let me think about that. Oh, that doesn't take deep thought.
Can I send you guys my national papers to autograph? Where are you from?
What does that mean?
I guess proclaiming nationality. They want us to sign.
Well, whenever someone asks us to to sign their papers, they actually come down to us.
Mm-hmm.
They come to where we are, and then they have people in the room sign it as witnesses because
we want to see you.
Witness.
Yeah, we want to see you.
Yeah, because anyone can send us a piece of paper with a name on it, and I'm not putting my signature on it because I don't know who that is.
Oh, you don't want to nationalize Gina Raimondo?
Because then she could probably use that as, well, Trump said naturalize, citizenship is revoked, but the original people of the land gave me citizenship.
I know.
Nah, you ain't, get out of here.
Under their authority.
Yeah, go back to Europe. You ain't playing me. That was a great question. Great.
Where are you guys?
We are in the Narragansett territory of Morocco, fraudulently called New England, and the state's fraudulently called Rhode Island. But it's not Rhode Island, and this is not New England. It's Narragansett land, the Narragansett Confederacy, aka a Barbary state, a Moorish state.
Kind of off topic, we have to take a trip down to. There's an actual city called Narragansett, down where all of these Native Americans live, and how all of the streets are under Moore's Head, Moore's Way, Moore's everything. At least 10 streets leading up. And mind you, that's all Native reservation, right? But they don't know they're Moors. But
now remember this certain chief.
Oh, and then there's one street called Indian's Head. just to mix it up.
I'm confused now. There's 10 Moorish roads, but there's this one Indian thing. I'm confused.
Right.
Somebody said, how can I utilize the UCC notice to agent, notice to principal to get ahead of the head of Department of Education through the college president?
That sounds like what the phrase, that the phrase notice to agents is notice to principal. You know that exists, but you don't know what it means. Because if I'm one half of Resident Moors and she's the other half of Resident Moors, and you email her to get to me, that's notice to the agent, notice to the principal.
So I'm obligated to say something.
And vice versa. That's also UCC 1-202, meaning notice and knowledge, meaning you told them already. What you're really asking is how do you enforce it? You enforce it by coming to the Moorish town so that we have our own elected body of people and muftis to say, we sent these letters to these people. Now we have to knock on their doors because they're not answering. Just like when these Europeans say, well, you didn't go to court, now we're going to issue a body attachment or a warrant. Now they're going to pull you over and take you.
This has been done recently. I believe it was California. Excuse me. I forget the name of the nation. I'm pretty sure it was California. It was definitely on the West Coast. And this was recently where they had their own community. They had their own government. They had everything. So they had their own school, hospital, everything set up. And the government was respecting that because there's power in numbers there. You can't just say you.
Oh, like the prophet said, with his unity, there's strength. Oh, I think I get it. I don't know. You gotta explain that to me one more time. I don't know. I don't get it. It's not like basic common sense, right? Because they have no choice but to respect it. They have no choice.
Right.
That's literally putting them in checkmate. They have no choice.
Also, you remember when those Europeans, I think it was in Oregon, took over that. There was a whole strike over I don't know what, and they took over armed. They were all armed, like strapped, and took over a whole area and had that area quarantined to themselves for the longest time.
Wow.
And they armed, mind you, and was holding this area hostage. Like these people were considered terrorists, right? So the government was just.
Well, when you do it like that, then they could label you anything, which is why we don't approach that.
Right.
Approach it like that,
right? No,
because it's people already tripping. Talking about we're terrorists, but how are we terrorists if this video of me going in court, sending these magistrates, and I'm here talking?
Paper terror.
My bad. But then when you define terrorism, it's using violence to promote a political agenda. When we literally say love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the word Islam itself means peace. Maybe so it's all a fraud.
Maybe it's like a description of your style of violently writing.
It doesn't matter how you try to say it. Don't try to defend their stupidity.
Trying to fit in.
Your pen was too sharp.
Somebody said we are peaceful warriors.
Yeah, because a warrior fights because they have to, not because they want to.
Mm-hmm. I overstand would do the same thing. From Khalifa territory. Somebody else said they wanted their nationality papers done and said yep. They said email me and put the email out. Please come.
Come bond with us.
Where can we find the class location?
riseofthemore.org on the class tab.
Mm-hmm.
Next Saturday, right?
Yep.
We're gonna do a live.
Yep.
And the location of the class will be posted. It feels good when people come and see us and like share their stories and share. You know, we got a certain amount. We got this many more in this territory. We're doing this, and this. We're trying to do this, and this. That's like, oh, y'all doing that? I have to step our game up too now.
And you know,
sorry. God, we also need to make it a point to when we travel anywhere.
I was gonna say that's what I was just gonna say because there are people that connected and you guys went to go visit them.
Right. It's, well,
because they've been supporting us since we started.
Right.
Yeah.
That's important.
Dope.
And I mean that in itself shows that we care about you as much as you care about this. It's not.
We traveled 15 hours to Mecca, Chicago, Illinois.
Each and every one of you is important. Each and every one of you brings something to the table, and we need you all here. Helping.
Literally. We can't do
yourself
it.
And us.
We can't
Two of us help you.
Yeah. We can't do it alone. We ain't superheroes. We're just regular people. We put on our pants, left foot, right foot, or right foot, left foot, however you want to do it.
Yeah, it feels good when people come and see us. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Oh, also, I like to use our platform to say, support the House of Reawakening Minds. Because if it wasn't for them, a lot of these Moors acting like they know something wouldn't be acting like they knew something.
Yep.
Because most of these Moors studied from the House of Ram.
And they're making it so easy for people that don't have the means to travel down there to watch the classes online. And I believe they're starting up a YouTube channel. Do they already have one?
Dr. Naila said if she gets a certain amount of followers on the YouTube, she'll start doing a certain amount of subscribers. But they do have a Facebook.
Subscribe to House of Ram.
Yep, House of Ram, and they, take donations.
If
help support that.
Go there and visit and physically be there. Do it. I mean, the experience of actually being there and watching is so loving. You walk in and I mean.
Welcome. It smells like
warm
incense and essential oils.
And if you don't have the means to travel down there, and you're watching the videos on because a lot of people repost their videos too without their permission,
just to monetize their own YouTube.
Go to their YouTube. Go to Dr. Naila's YouTube. Go to House of Reawakening Minds, House of Ram Facebook, and make a donation so that they can keep having the means to do what they do.
They brought you all of the greats that you love. So if you want to continue having them, patronize your Moorish enterprises.
Yeah. Because all the
you can pay $10 to go to the movies, or $5 on
or buy cigarettes.
Or buy cigarettes.
$10 for food.
Buy touches, buy bud, buy liquor, buy lipstick, makeup.
Honestly, you do nothing.
$10 is not a lot.
No,
it's not a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just give them what you can.
Yeah. Can y'all come to Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes, we will come to Florida soon. I've been talking to him about it for a while.
He's like,
I can't say nothing.
Fine.
Normally, if people want me to go somewhere, that's pay for my travel. But
if we're already there, right?
That's different.
Right. But if you do want us to come to a specific area,
you gotta pay for it.
Hook us up with like a Airbnb or something, a room.
Or you know what? Support the website.
Right.
Buy the stuff so
The
we don't.
t-shirts.
Yeah, so we have the means to support ourselves going down there.
Jamal's second book is coming out soon.
Yeah, it should be in November or something. A few days.
November 7th, I think.
Something like that. And book number 3 is almost done.
And
book number 4 is
book number 4.
Book number 5 we wrote today.
You on the roll.
Yeah. You know it's funny that actually
they were working like a slave. Help.
It's actually not a lie. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait for
sorry,
number 5.
At the beginning of his third book, this book was written under threat and coercion.
You're like in a basement with a candle, poking you with sticks right into the bottom.
Let's be honest.
It's time.
Let's be honest. If it wasn't for women in our lives as men, we wouldn't be inspired to do crap.
Isn't that great? This is like this very conversation.
My phlegm.
This very conversation is a product of that. There was a discussion in Women's Auxiliary Court, and I was like, how can Rise and More support that? Mm-hmm. Me being a member of Rise and More, and we jumped online, and here's the discussion.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about how it's so important that our women can just have especially conscious Moorish women, can have this conversation about this topic and express their feelings with no men involved. I mean, you kind of showed me some of the messages how it's important that the women get their voice out because it's mostly men, which is a problem, but it's also not a problem. It's just imbalanced.
Right.
So just, I don't want to speak for women.
Let me know if there's any women on this live chat. Let me know if you want to be included in our Women's Auxiliary Group chat.
Put your. Should we just ask for the?
What?
For the Instagram. It's on Yeah, it's on Instagram.
Right.
So if you want to post your Instagram handle, females, if you want to be in the group.
Right. It's very new. We are just starting to introduce ourselves and get some organization going, but we need to. And this is more because, women are
suppressed.
Islam.
And we get most of the work done. So we need to come together and motivate and actually do at the same time.
With
each other and motivate our other Moorish men around us, because a lot of these Moors will listen to us.
Just because you're women and we just have to.
You want to talk about?
Fight, but we ain't really fighting.
Do you want to talk about your past experience working with men trying to make things happen?
Yeah, we didn't go anywhere. we stayed in the same spot real quick. I was like, we talked about the board of directors, and it was cool to have the conversation. When it came down to me actually typing the documents and typing the duties of the positions and what's expected of those positions, a contract was never signed. I mean, they like to just, our men like to just talk about, I want to be the CEO and the president, but they actually don't want the responsibility, because then it takes away from their time. They can't go to the strip club, they can't waste their money on alcohol, and they can't waste their money on gold fronts. And that's just personal experiences being here, because they'd rather be in the trap house. I've been in the trap house, and nothing gets done in the trap house. Nothing happens.
So much guidance.
It actually is.
And sorry, that's where the balance comes into play, where they're.
Wait, but it's the quality of women.
Yeah.
Because there were women involved in these groups, but it was. I'm not judging them. It was just the bar is so low.
They weren't in their right mind.
That they're not in their right mind. Exactly.
And you're also not in it for the right reasons.
And the image is, every man has to be a rapper, and every woman has to be a model.
And what's the funny thing too? To have a group of men, a lot of ego gets involved.
Oh yeah. Because
all
the men want to be in charge.
Our working together is like, what do you need me to do? And then what do you want me to do? It's as simple as that.
Too many chiefs. Not enough.
Matriarch.
Because it really, a room full of men got nowhere, and one woman helped create what we're doing now. And then along the way, we have more.
And like I said, I was creating all the contracts that we needed to get things established within our group. All we needed was a tight system of how we're going to.
We needed to figure out how we're going to administrate. Yeah.
Yes. So once we establish that, then we can conduct business. Because if at any point one of us gets off topic, we revert back to the contract.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page.
And then we signed a contract in the car right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
No questions. Just, all right, cool. Because now if we ever got off track, which we haven't, we can just go back to what we said in the contract, what our original mission statement was, and what our goals were, are. So if any one of us get off topic, we can say, well, this is the law that we set up. You're off law. You're not according to law. Get back in harmony.
What happened with that contract?
Still exists.
It still exists. We don't ever really need to look at it as long as we're on the same page. And then if it needed to grow or change, we just.
That's weird. It stopped.
Yeah, it's because of the battery, but it's still running.
But listen to that phrase. On the same page. The page is literally a contract that we agreed to. That's where the phrase came from. Yep. So if things aren't clearly set up or laid out, then there is no same page. It's all speculation. And that's how and why businesses fail. That and lack of dedication, lack of customer service. I was actually talking to my mother today about how this new restaurant opened up, and she ordered some food from them, and the food was gross. So she complained to them, and they were kind and gave her more food, and it was a little better, but it was still crappy. But she appreciated the fact that they didn't try to avoid responsibility. They tried to correct their issue, which is they sucked at cooking, because chances are they seasoned a little bit of salt, and her name was Betty. But the issue is customer service. Like our people talk about, they want to be businessmen and businesswomen, but can't even have a regular conversation without getting angry, without catching an attitude real quick because they feel like you're attacking them, even though they're really wrong because the customer's always right. You know what I mean? Like these are things that a lot of our people don't consider because they're just watching TV, they're just watching Empire, they're just watching Power, and it's not wrong with watching those shows, but you have no logical, real logistical. You don't have that mindset. So stay in your lane.
Right. We completely lost image. Do you want to end the conversation then?
No, I don't. I mean, unless the people mind, if the people don't mind, we keep going.
I think they'll appreciate it. Give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Our battery died. Do you want us to still continue the conversation? Keep going, fam.
Hey, one's better than none. If everyone leaves and one person stays, it's all good.
That's all right. If we can get you, this one person, come.
Keep going. Keep going. The energy is correct. Continue.
If we teach one person and that one person teaches 3, now that's 4 people, and then each of those 3 teach 3. Now we got a whole community.
They will come.
Anything I'm missing?
We didn't get too deep into specifics, because it's such a broad topic.
Like what?
Well, we talked about the children's aspect on that. Also, if your children are still in public schools, there are ways to exempt them from having to need vaccines.
Yep, you can use
there are templates online that are already preset, and you can just fill in the blanks. Well,
you have to be competent and know what to say in the blanks.
So when somebody calls you into the office, you got to back that up.
Yep.
Right. You can do religious reasons, and you can. There's so many.
Literally, Drew Ali said, "Keep your bodies clean and pure with water." So you can say, "Well, excuse me, school. My prophet said," which is your First Amendment right. And if you're in so-called Rhode Island, I think it's Article 1, Section 3 of Rhode Island State Constitution, religious right. You can't be punished for your religious beliefs. So you say, "Excuse me, school, blah, blah, blah. My prophet said I need to keep my body clean and pure with water. So if my body's clean and pure with water, my children can't be vaccinated because that's not water." Which is your religious right, which is secured by the Constitution, both federal and state.
There are ways
True that.
Yeah.
But people need to stop being so afraid of religion and thinking they're claiming spirituality, which is really religion what they're trying to claim, but they just don't know the difference between dogma. Use religion to your benefit.
Right.
Just separate the wheat from the chaff, realize what is dogmatic
Mm-hmm.
and what's not, and then use religion to your benefit.
Right.
Now, I'm laughing because somebody said this is like listening to a radio. Does anybody want us to start a regular conversation podcast on riseandmorse.org? Because we've been thinking about that.
I mean,
mulling it over.
For Saturdays, we can do it more towards that and just do the e-learning.
We got some things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Even we usually go out to eat and stuff after too. So
Yeah.
Even
we really need to get that matriarch video up.
Yeah.
Because if the women aren't heard, then we're just repeating the same BS cycles and we're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In order to rebuild a nation, we have to rebuild our women so we can rebuild these Moorish men and, secure them, bring them back to Allah and their natural state of being, because we're off track.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I mean, I don't want to make it seem like there's not Moorish women who are off track. They are too.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but,
What else?
And that's I'm agreeing with both men and women. And I see it. I don't want to go too much into detail, but the quality of men and what I hear that our women go through makes all men look bad.
What we were listening to today.
Yeah,
that foolishness.
Stupidity. Like people.
What were you listening to?
Some guy was saying.
We can't even specifically. I don't even want to get into
about how to emotionally and mentally
manipulate
women. And trying to say how I don't even want to give that energy.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And that's what causes debates and division. So just recognize that that's stupid. Don't let it emotionally affect you, and just either turn it off or just burn the whole thing.
And recognize the karma in destroying others will destroy yourself. Please.
Man. Somebody said pimpology.
Actually,
that's kind of what it was. Pimpology. It was some craziness though.
There's a lot of crazy stuff that our men be doing this. Wild, and then there's a lot of stuff that our women just allow it to happen.
Yes,
I've seen women support bums.
Yes.
Like, give them
enable,
5,
not just
5,000
support, enable them.
5,000 notes of their taxes because they have a child and no father, and they were the men were just giving them some attention. So unfortunately, the women lacks that. So she's seen that as a value, regardless of the quality of the man she was getting. So she gave up 5,000 of her so-called taxes from the IRS, state, federal, whatever, to that dude for nothing. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
And they didn't even live in the same state.
That's insane.
And it happens a lot.
That's sad.
It happens all the time. I'm like, why are these women supporting these people? You just drain yourself. Because what are they doing for you? Nothing. They can't even make sure that these Europeans don't come after your house. They don't know how to tell you to claim your house illegally, and they won't stand by your side. So what are you supporting them for?
Yep.
They'll just that's just the beast, and you just shut up. Get out of my face with that coward BS. You ain't no man. Shut up. But if our women accept that, that's what it is.
Listen, men. There are women out there who,
in their right mind,
who even want this kind of treatment. I'm not saying, like, if you're gonna do this, do this to the ones who are looking for it.
Yeah.
Leave the ones who are in their right mind, who are minding their business, who are building themselves. Support them.
Yeah, don't come over here underqualified and waste my time.
Right. Just leave it alone.
Somebody said, fam, do a podcast and have the first episode topic. What? And this is... I've seen that type of stuff a lot.
And vice versa, because the culture that is being promoted right now is just toxic amongst. Can we also talk about women promoting other women's toxic behavior? And
like what?
You know, I don't know if I wanted to get into specifics because this can be a little touchy, but
wait,
because these are my opinions.
You talking about the side girl? Girl. He crazy. You talking about that?
Just, and I mean this like for men too. Like men stop supporting other toxic male behavior.
F-boy behavior.
Right. And F-woman behavior and thought behavior and
make it unacceptable in our culture.
We don't accept this.
It's cool for our women to be strippers, apparently.
Right. It's cool for them. Thoughts
it's not wrong with it.
And boys are running things right now, and that's not okay.
They don't have to be glorified.
You know what? It's like this.
Right.
You are your company.
That I destroying others around you.
I grew up like knowing you are your company. So if I was hanging around with a thotty friend, I don't want people to think I conduct myself the way she does. So I just not spend time with her or be around her.
Right. And it's not to say it's not okay to be diplomatic and it's not okay to show, to be accepting and to show everybody love.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't hate you.
Right. I don't support what you're about.
We don't have anything in common that goes against my morals.
Right.
I respect you. You're going through a phase, hopefully. And I'll just see you on the other side.
But even like I don't know if this is too far, but like in other countries, brothels and stuff like that, that's normal.
Right.
And those women aren't judged like women are judged here. It's still you still get treated with respect.
Q and Usher.
Somebody said, "Yep, that's why people get fired for Facebook stuff."
People just be airing out everything on Facebook.
Right.
Yep, it's normalized.
That's all that freaking Flavor Flav.
Don't think social media isn't a social experiment either.
It's a trap.
Just like schools, just like jails, just like projects.
The projects.
Right.
Literally a project.
Right.
Reservations.
You're so.
Same thing.
I need more tea.
More tea?
All right. I need more tea.
Do you want me to add in that Ethiopian tea spice? But I won't give you the heavy hand this time.
Anything you want, because I will go into a coffin pit.
Oh, can I read this real quick?
Yes.
This was Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. National. Pertaining or relating to a nation as a whole. Period. Commonly applied in American law to institutions, laws, or affairs of the United States or its government, as opposed to those of the several states. So you see how they showed that American law and the United States are two different things? But people would miss that because they don't know how to read. So no one can ever say that they hid anything.
Somebody said social engineering is alive and well.
Yes, very much so.
And why would you add well, I always thought, why add your job to social media platform?
Right.
I
mean,
Hold on. Can we talk about what did that person just say previously?
Social engineering is alive and well.
Yes, that's true. But we also can't forget that we were once part of that. Like at one point, we ate meat. At another point, we call ourselves a crown color. What I see a lot is it may be unintentional, but people may post things trying to wake people, quote unquote, wake people up, but they do it arrogantly.
Right.
Or they'll talk down to Christians, or
you're not going to reach anybody.
Yeah. So what are you talking down to these people for?
Yep.
Because I literally thought I was Christian. I didn't say it, but internally I was like, what's wrong with it? And there was so many so-called black people debating how it's so wrong and blah, 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 blah. But when you actually study it and separate the dogma, there's nothing wrong with it. Because it's based on all the other ancient religions, meaning it's the other ancient religions.
They're all saying the same thing.
Yes.
For the most part.
So you can't condemn a Christian. But you can say, did you know that Christianity was created in 325 AD? And do you know there's something called the Christian Black Codes of 1724 where they were forcing Christianity on us and they claimed us as their products?
Right. I hear a little thing about the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, the Spanish Inquisition. So you can say things like that. You don't have to say Christians are stupid.
Right.
Because then you're automatically putting yourself in an adverse position, and you're fighting them already now. Instead of arguing, meaning gaining clarity through facts, you're debating, meaning you're just disagreeing with anything that they say.
Right.
Did you see the thing I put up?
Yeah.
No.
You can get that T-shirt. RiseOfTheMoors.org.
Since we don't monetize our channel and show you BS ads, please support us at riseofthemoors.org.
So we can support you.
Exactly. Because these lights don't stay on by faith. We can't say, Jesus paid my bills.
You see how the lights just went out and you can't see us?
No, that's the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us been in a situation where we didn't have heat, so we had to open up the oven. Or we didn't have hot water, so we had to boil water or go to our aunt's house or grandma's house, and we felt embarrassed even though we were family. So let's just be real. Let's just be real here. We all know that we be getting those bills. Look at them, shred them. National Grid come through, turn it off. Why ain't turning it off?
I didn't even turn my heat on until December.
Somebody said, "Why is a bone on the screen?"
that's Jamal.
That's a T-shirt you can get at riseofthemoors.org. Somebody asked if we are gonna have shirts in 2X or 3X.
We had 2X.
Yep, right? Those are actually the sizes that sell out fastest, so we never have them.
Yeah. Also, I know y'all been asking about the sweaters. It's just it costs fiat to do a lot of these things.
Sweaters are a lot more expensive to. We really don't make a big profit on that at all on any of that stuff. Yeah.
But if more people are part of our platform selling more products, then we would all be rolling though.
Yeah.
Right. And we also make it a point to support each other. Support each other's businesses. You know, let's just be each other's plug. If everybody else can do it, you know, the Jews and Koreans and all these people are doing it.
Listen, we make other people rich. So if we can make them rich, why don't we just make ourselves rich?
Right. We have most of the buying power. Invest in yourself. Vote with your dollar.
And if you don't know how to invest in yourself, invest in the people who know how to do it. So at least you're part of a team. Right. Don't be part of a gang that's not going anywhere. Be part of a team. I mean, there's nothing wrong with gang, the word gang, because the word gang means a group of people moving in unison. But don't be part of a so-called quote-unquote street gang that's not doing anything but selling crack to your own people and rapping about it.
Right.
Be part of a group that's going somewhere.
Somebody said, I do T-shirts printing here in Canaan Land Moors. Put your information up so anybody that's in Canaan Land will know where to find you so you can start doing business.
Cujo.
And then somebody said, how about a group order of the sweater? I'm sure enough of us want one.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but now you're talking about pre-orders.
Yeah. I mean, I got a fire designs.
Remember the
waiting to pop up. The one with the I still have that.
All the ideas
I still have that.
We got a lot of ideas on here. It's just
funding.
Like the prophet said, I need finance and I need that. You know what I mean? Like,
where are you all located?
Jamal. Excuse me. Go ahead.
We are located so-called Providence, Rhode Island, the organic Narragansett territory.
GMO, Rhode Island.
Organic Narragansett. GMO, Rhode Island.
If you want to, somebody said they want a shirt and a sweater with this logo. If you want the T-shirt with this logo that's on the screen, it's at riseandmores.org.
Yes. If we're gonna do pre-orders, we have to do the sweater design and then say pre-order so people know it's a
pre-order.
And then we have to make the shirts that.
Yeah, and we actually work with a local Moore to produce those too. The meeting place. The meeting place is on riseofthemoors.org under class tab.
Well, what I was saying earlier is how you Jamal, and you who shall remain nameless, Amanda.
You can say my name.
Should I say your whole name?
No.
Reveal. This was like more breaking more shit.
Nay.
Well, you guys put it on so many things
AKA the
already.
second half of Rise of the Moors.
And more news, breaking news, COINTELPRO agent revealing her identity.
You guys put it
out.
You guys dropped it on so many things.
Yeah,
and people like.
They still don't know.
Yeah, they catch it sometimes, and I'm sure after this they still won't know. It'll still be a question.
You guys spend so much of your own time.
Somebody wrote, "Ladies and gentlemen, she has a name."
Empress Janaea.
Oh my goodness.
I have her saved in my phone as so.
I
Just how Jamal introduces me as the Duchess, I introduce her as the Empress. So they're spending so much of their own time
and energy,
fiat, and energy, and just to do this and to help you. You don't understand how many people reach out in a day that you can't personally get to and answer every single DM, every single message, every single phone call, email.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. You just have to remember it's impossible, and they're only themselves, and we can only do so much. We are trying.
We're human beings, right?
We are human.
Somebody said, "How can we donate to y'all?" Honestly, we don't ask for donations. Go to the website and help support us by purchasing something. When
because at least you'll be getting something physical. Like you have a book now. If you don't want it, give it to someone as a gift. That's Christmas present.
Right.
Make people conscious with Christmas gifts.
Valentine's Day gifts. You have young people in your lives, nephews, nieces, cousins, anything. Plant the seed. Give them Jamal's book.
I gave my nephew my book, and he's 5. He can't even read yet. But
you know what's dope?
His name is Morris.
If anybody doesn't have the first book, Are You Confused About Law? It's a great book to start a library because it has so much information in it that's the book you buy until you have the funds to get all the rest.
Yeah.
And that'll help you build concepts. So when you get the rest of those books, the big expensive dictionaries.
That was my intent with the book.
I know. And that's exactly what it accomplishes.
It gives you historical references, like initial gateway. You need to know this. So when it comes to nationalizing, these are the concepts that you really need to know.
Do you want to talk about some of the things that we have on the website?
Yeah, we can do that. So when you go to the homepage, you see my stupid face.
Serious face.
No, I'm smiling.
Yeah, you are.
Picture.
It's a good smile.
Thank you.
It's a good smile.
It is. He needs to be praised for that smile. Usually you get the mug.
No, he got crooked teeth.
I know. So we changed the image of me mugging the viewer and crying in your face. So we switched it up to a more friendly view.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Share.
Let me. Can you tell me if it's on there?
Oh yeah, I checked it out.
Tell me if it's on there.
Me mugging the world.
Right. Oh yeah, a little bit.
It's on there. It's on the live.
Yeah, a little bit.
You have my favorite ever.
So,
eyebrows.
Yeah, your eyebrows are so expressive.
Oh.
Let me see if I can.
The viewers are probably like, what are we talking about right now?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, it is screen sharing.
Yeah.
All right, it's kind of like
lopsided. Hold on.
It's not lopsided. It's not full screen. Now they can see you doing things.
I know.
Patience, Iago.
Oh, I want to talk about this one thing briefly. It's important not to bite the hand that feeds you.
Yes.
Very, 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 very important. Because that's what keeps dividing us. Like if there's a more that's been putting you on, and they've been instructing you for free, and they're the reason why you got fez on your head. Why would you then try to slander them? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you disagree with something that they have in mind or that they say, just disagree. In private.
It's okay to
air out dirty laundry that's not even dirty. You're just making it dirty.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do that?
Anyway, it's okay to agree to disagree. You don't have to agree with anything. You don't have to agree with everything anybody says. The whole point of being Being competent is being able to take information from different places and make it make sense for yourself.
Yep.
And realize
what you can accept and what you don't have to accept.
Right.
And,
right. And form your own opinions.
Yes.
Don't base everything
On
you
what
see
someone
off
else-
of right. Especially the news, aka air quotes
anything.
the news.
Anything.
Right.
Well, if you look at your screen, you'll see it says Rise of the Moors with a pyramid.
Yeah.
Home screen, it states that we're dedicated to, influencing new Moors and influencing our elders, because it's very important to show our elders that the information that you've been teaching, that torch is not going out anytime soon. And look, boom, case is dismissed.
We got
It's
you.
the information that you've been giving us for free, tirelessly, fearlessly, despite opposition from agents or whomever.
Like you didn't waste your time.
Yeah, you weren't wasting your time. Someone someone felt your sincerity. Someone felt your fidelity, your fortitude, and your overall love for your people, and picked up that torch.
Yeah.
That's very important. And then also it's very important to influence the youth and show them you can do something other than go to a community college, go to the military, or get a boring job that you hate.
Go into business for yourself.
Right.
So the second most popular question we get is, where are the classes? If you go to risethemoors.org, go into the class tab.
So
You'll
you
see
a picture of the prophet.
Yep.
And then you see a link to our YouTube channel, and at
usually in this
screen,
area, we will have a location. So when we start back up next Saturday, there'll be a location here if you want to join class. Thank you so much.
Oh, briefly, something reminded me of this when we were talking about nationalizing children. If you're a parent, invest in that child and help them not have to have a job through the European system. So either save some fiat for them or whatever it is, or set them up for success.
Or teach them how to start their own business.
Or teach them the skill.
Right.
Oh, let's get to that.
Yes.
So, we'll get to it once we get to the products page. So we have a couple classes posted.
From the YouTube.
We also have a public info page.
Uh-oh, now you're talking about getting cases dismissed.
Uh-oh.
Wait. You're talking about this more stuff works? Wait a minute.
So if you want to see what we've been up to, case dismissal.
Oh, look at that.
A little light case dismissal.
Oh, and felony charges dismissal. Wait. You Moors did that with no attorney, huh? What? Y'all didn't go to law school? No,
Should we open this to people that want to post up?
Yeah, but if
or is it this territory? Should we?
It's public information.
Yeah.
But if we do that, just like anything else, we have to be compensated.
Yep.
Because it's a filing fee.
Proof in the pudding. If you want to file it on public record again.
Yep.
Letters to show that we're active in our territory. Receipts. We sent them. They signed them. Notice to the agent. Notice to the principal.
Exactly.
Yep.
Which can set you up for a tort claim.
Yep. Public.
Yeah. So if you're a Moor and you're in a territory and you're trying to quote unquote convince people that this stuff works.
Yep.
Feel free to go to riseandthemore.org. Go to public information. And that first document is a writ of prohibitio that I sent in for Moore dealing in so-called Philadelphia, and he was in.
Somebody's in all the shocking
the name of the county he was in has the word Ali in it.
Wow.
So ain't no way that St. Moore's Dominion get out of my face. But anyway, so this first document, if you go to that county with the name Ali in it, go to that county court's record and put in that case number, and you can see that it is that case and it is dismissed.
Ooh, that's bounty! Whoa!
I know, try it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's fine.
So what you're seeing right now is a writ of prohibitio saying that you Europeans can't talk to this Moor because it's diversity of citizenship. Then when you scroll down or click play slideshow on the actual document, it'll go to page 1. You gotta scroll up a little bit, like at the tippity top of the document.
Tippity top.
There you go.
There you go.
Press play. Then that's the second page with my signature and who we sent certain courtesy copies to. Then that's the actual case from the docket that the Europeans have on their records. You see that his personal information is private and that the case is dismissed. But since it's quote unquote public, you can look up the case number and see everything not redacted. It's just since this is a Moor, we're not showing no straw name because that's not him. Because we're making a clear distinction that it's not him. But they had to dismiss the case on the straw because he refused to be surety. Because he was competent. The paper didn't do nothing, his mind did. Then if you scroll down, you'll see counts. You'll say felony charges dismissed. You see the counts that this person was facing, obtaining so-called money under false pretenses. Then if you press play on that slideshow, which again, if you go to county record, well, that was actually Supreme Court. So that's the highest so-called state level court. If you go to Supreme Court records and you put in that case number, you'll see that this was dismissed. And you should see the second document right there with the signatures and thumbprint on it. That was on the record. You should see that, and you should see the dismissal. And if you don't see that, and you come down here, I have a certified copy of that dismissal embossed by the Supreme Court. So that's proof that these cases are dismissed. That's proof that the information works. But it's not the documents, it's the human beings and their level of competency. We're not trying to create dependents, we're trying to create leaders.
Moving on.
And now we're moving on.
Moving on. We
can joke around and be serious in the same,
We have the Jamal shoes.
You see that?
Sauce.
So on this page, products, you can go to books, you can go to apparel, and you can go to e-learning. If you go to books, click on books, please. You see the first book is about trust law in a jural society, which is a state, etc., etc., etc. The second book is really my first book called Are You Confused About Law, which I go into some history about so-called Rhode Island, which is really Narragansett. Also jurisprudence, some history basic history that Moors need to know. I've been told that it's a great book.
It's a great book.
And
everything is sourced.
Every time someone says that.
Everything is sourced.
I also was told by a lot of Moors that my book, that book right there, Are You Confused About Law, and Abdul's book, Moors and Masonry, are good, like hand-in-hand documents. Like they go well together.
That's a fact.
What I was told.
That's a fact. From somebody that has both books.
Yeah. And the rest of these books are from Grant Sheet Cujo Ottawa L. And if you want more of his books, if you buy it from us and you click on the book description, you'll see the link to get more of his books. So as you can see, we're not selfish here at Rise of the Moors.
These are all his links.
We share information and we'll tell you this is where you can get it from the source if you want to get it straight from the source. But if you want to get it from us, which he said we can sell his book on our platform, you can get it from us.
And we don't upsell either. This is the same price he sells it for.
Yep. And you can double check by clicking on a link to his website.
Yep. What else we got?
Which that shows you that we're having an open platform to sell other people's product. It's just if you want to sell something like a book on our page, it kind of has to be filtered because we built a certain amount of credit with the people that they're not expecting some, they're not expecting a book to be posted on his website and then talking about we're Black people. So you kind of have to be credible.
So the newest edition is PDF documents, which it's not really new because you have the trust law document. We have
that was more like a booklet.
Yep. We have a business plan, which you mentioned earlier, to start a family business and leave something for your children.
Which is also talked about in the trust law video in the e-learning section.
Completely explained. If you don't know how to write a business plan, this is...
Which, let's talk about that for a second. Because we've been in, the three of us have been in the room with other Moors talking about doing, business ideas. And then one of you brought up writing a business plan. And they were like, why do we have to do that? Or what is that? How do we do that? How can you possibly be talking about business if you don't even know how to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the skeleton, the framework of your business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know how to do it and you want to learn, this document is here and tells you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Literally explains everything.
Mm-hmm.
What goes in this paragraph? What goes in this paragraph?
Mm-hmm.
What goes here? What goes there? How to gauge your market? What a market is? What supply and demand is? What
Mm-hmm.
everything is? It tells you what it is.
I also think Janae set it up so that way you can type on it, but you can't change it, right?
I locked it.
Oh, you did.
So it gives an explanation. I'm pretty sure you can unlock it though.
Yeah.
What if you go under edit?
Now, and if you can't,
Copy and paste.
you ain't gotta do that. Just
Yeah.
make the document yours. Just look at it, compare it. All right, I want this to look like this now.
Right.
So
Mhm.
don't make it someone else's work. Make it yours so you have some
Right.
value.
Mhm.
Right.
This is literally a basic beginner business plan.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get everything out. If you have an idea,
And
you
it's
have
a-
all the answers to fill this out.
It's also a good learning curve because if there's things in there that you don't know what it is.
This is impossible. I
Yeah.
explained everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Facts.
Facts. Yeah. It's very instructional. You won't be lost. Very simple.
And it's also good because if you have an idea and you can't fully explain it in that business plan,
Mhm.
then that tells you this isn't a good idea.
Yep.
I need to reconsider it.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yep.
Because
And
now you're training yourself to get rid of quote unquote bad ideas.
so let's talk about you want to get the help of your family members. How are they going to take you seriously?
Mhm.
If you fill this out, very simple,
And present it to them.
Mm-hmm.
they're more likely to support you
Mhm.
and give you that loan you're looking for or bring support or help you out.
Or realize that you are serious.
And it is very good material to teach your children
Yep.
this business template.
So that they're
Especially
not
if
wards
you,
of the state.
right, if you have children that you're homeschooling, even if they're not homeschooled, these are the things that
This
can
these are
start
the things
homeschooling.
these are the things that our families didn't know to teach us about.
Mhm.
So now when Maya Angelou, her famous line is when you know better, you do better.
Mhm.
Now we know.
Now we have to do.
If you're homeschooling, this is great.
Right.
If your child has an idea, they lemonade stand,
You can
they can
help
fill
that.
this out.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Right.
start
That's
that
exactly what I
mentality.
Yep.
From a young age, it can be raking leaves. It can be doing whatever it is they want to do, you know?
Raking leaves on your block, few houses.
Mm-hmm.
Wanna go
Shoveling snow.
Let's
Get them in the business entrepreneur
Mindset.
mind. Don't just set them up to go to school. I mean, of course,
all this
you know,
knowledge and no applying it.
right.
Mhm.
Set them up to set up their own businesses. Show them how to create their own
And
empires.
also don't be jealous of what they have.
Right.
Mhm.
Raise them up to
Surpass you.
right, as well as losing my train of thought here.
All
Going
right.
too quick.
Uh-oh, what's this?
FAQ.
Frequently asked questions. This is the basic standard. If you're not a good writer and you're trying to again teach someone about more stuff, send them here to the frequently asked question page. Who are the Moors? And then it goes into a little brief description. I wrote all of it.
Mhm.
So I mean,
What is more?
who is
Jordy?
Rodney? The next it goes into the brief definition.
So
Who this sauce god is.
Mhm.
dripping down to the shoes.
For real, talking about swag. What was I gonna say? I can't see from here.
Are the
Shakespeare
Moors
could be that
Masons?
So
person.
are the Moors Masons? That is a very frequently asked question.
Hmm.
No, Moors are not Masons, as in the European Lodge, but we are Masons, as in mother son.
Mhm. The Masons took this information and used it for
preserved
themselves.
Exactly.
and then kind of hid it, but not hid it.
It's an open
Hid
secret.
it in plain sight.
Yeah, it's an open secret.
Somebody said, "What if your idea requires fiat acquiring a skill that you don't have?"
Huh?
For the business plan, write that in the business
Say that one
plan.
more time.
Yeah.
What if your idea requires fiat acquiring a skill that you don't have?
Is that
I guess
comma
talking about-
or and acquiring skills?
Comma.
Okay, so now when you talk about fiat,
But that's discussed in the business plan as well.
okay.
Like planning for that.
Mhm.
It's I outlined it
Mhm.
so you can get started on a plan on how to get that going.
But if we can just speak generally, like let's say that people supported Rising the Moors in our business enterprise.
Mhm.
Then now we're able to literally give our people startup money
Mhm.
and not call it a loan. This is for you.
Yep.
Start up with this.
Mhm.
No, I want 20% interest. No, you gotta pay me back. Just you're more, I'm a more. We're on our chapter 25. Here you go.
But back to the
Then that
frequently
said,
asked questions.
can't see from here. What did I say?
What is the Moorish Science Temple of
What
America?
is the Moorish Science Temple of America? A
Again,
brief description.
sell stuff.
That's not quite brief, but it's brief. Oh, and when you see that image right there,
Nothing is brief.
Hey. When you see that image, Unity Hall, I used to think that it was a small building.
Mm.
That building goes to the next block
It's
and
like-
has a parking lot.
Mhm.
That's
Is
not
this
a
where
small building.
when you guys went to
Yeah,
Chicago?
lot
to see?
inside,
yeah,
too.
that is not a small
No?
building
Mm-mm.
at all.
Holy smokes!
The,
That parcel
You
of
could
land
house
must
in
be
there.
huge.
Yes.
It's deep.
That's good to know.
I would say a football field.
Wow.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
I would say a football field and a parking lot.
A football
Wow.
field and a lot on the side.
Which the Moors let go,
Mhm.
and now Europeans live in there.
Wow.
Right. It's rental property.
It's crazy.
What?
And the plaque on the wall says nothing more. It just says African American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
And the Moors they're just cool with it.
And nothing
And
about
they're-
Noble Jurelli.
Yeah, nothing.
Profit.
And then the Moors out there will say, "We honor the prophet." You ain't honoring nothing. Letting his building go to crap.
Mm-hmm.
And that was headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
That's the head, and you honor the prophet. Well, you Europeans living there.
Mm-hmm.
You're tripping. You ain't fooling me. You want to scroll down? That's a little side note. If you don't believe me, go to Chicago for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta believe me. I really don't care. I got a video of it, so.
Doesn't more just mean black?
No, more does not mean black. Black means pale, so how can more mean pale if we ain't pale skin?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Indian chief, I'm not gonna say his name,
Mm-hmm.
I call him a Moor. He said, literally in this so-called language that I have no dictionaries to prove. You said peace, black.
What?
But Moor is a noun and black's an adjective. So how does more mean black?
Hmm.
Oh, because you're stupid. Go ahead.
Wait.
My bad.
No. I'm just back it up.
Excuse.
How did they get that word black into their language?
German. BLAC.
No. I'm talking about it's a Native American.
Yeah, but even they never show any dictionaries, so you can't even explain.
Yeah.
But even that, they say, well, now using the pale man's language.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know anything about language at all, you know that all Indo-European languages have a proto,
Right.
meaning before,
Mm-hmm.
Indo-European root,
Right.
meaning it's not part of that European language at all.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're speaking English, you're not really speaking English because there was something before that.
Mm-hmm.
So they use those stupid arguments to confuse people. But anyway, what did I say right there?
What is nationality?
What is nationality?
Which is a discussion we had at the beginning of this open forum. Are more sovereign citizens?
We are not sovereign citizens. We are nationals.
Do Moors pay taxes?
Do Moors pay taxes? That is also a number one asked question. Because they think, when people ask that question, they think, one, that you have to pay taxes as a human being. They don't understand the difference between a natural person and an artificial person. Two, they don't understand that all taxes are voluntary because they think taxation is theft, even though it's voluntary. Three, they don't understand that you only pay taxes to your government. So when you ask, do Moors pay taxes? Do Moors pay taxes to who?
Somebody
But
said,
I
can you give a class on this? A class on what?
Also, get yourself, I'm not saying immediately, but work your way to be self-sufficient so you don't have to pay anybody else taxes.
Yep.
find ways.
Start a business and pay
business.
taxes to your Moorish government.
Right.
And if you don't have any in your area, start stashing away money and do
your trust fund.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Insure on all your own stuff for your business.
What's next?
Consular court affairs.
Consular court affairs. So that basically explains if you're looking for help or writ, this is the information that I need from you, and this is the email that you email.
Hold on, this is very important because half of these messages that you get on a daily basis are simple. I mean, not saying any question is a dumb question. There's no dumb question, but again, he's dealing with a lot of different matters, and so there is more than one website. You can go to riseofmoors.org, or you can go to RB Bay, or.
She's basically saying a lot of questions can be answered on your own, and you don't have to, because again, the Savior is self. You don't need anyone to help you.
Have patience.
Yes. But if you see on the website, you see that.
Also, sorry, you learn better when you're doing things on your own. If you hear him say something, I don't know about you guys, but I learned through repetition. So if I hear you say something and then I'm reading it myself afterwards, oh, this makes more sense to me now.
Because you're ready.
Right.
Because man knows not by being told.
Right.
And experience is the best teacher.
I'm giving myself the information, and it's not coming from you.
So now you're saying you saved yourself. Got
it. So if you're writing a email requesting help, this is
the
information that is needed.
Because if your status isn't established, then I can't help you. Because how do I know you're not a European claiming to be a Moor and you're trying to get my signature on the document, which now puts me in a fraudulent situation? And then it explains what we need from you. It explains what the costs are going to be for paper, ink, and mailing, because that's how this works. It takes finance to raise a nation.
Yeah, you just can't keep eating up all the costs.
Yeah. Then if you
out of your own pocket.
This is explaining how to properly handle the Moorish flag. Not to carry things with it, not to have it drag it on the floor, don't shove it in your pocket. It's supposed to be equal with every other national flag, because every nation is sovereign and equal to every other nation. And when it's on the left, it shows that it's the host nation. That's also how you can tell which temples are in order, which ones are not. Because if they have the Star Spangled Banner on the left, that's showing you that we're under occupation. But if you have our flag, the American flag, the red flag with the 5-pointed green star on the left, it's showing you that we are the host nation. Also, when you have our flag with the 5-pointed green star in the middle upside down, it shows you that our nation is under duress, which other nations know that signal and know that we need help. So let's be realistic. If we can't even enforce law with our own Mufti forces, then we're not self-governing to the best of our ability. So yes, we are under duress. That's why in class you'll see our flag upside down. And although we may joke around, it's to kind of ease the reality that we are under occupation and we're struggling to a degree. But that doesn't mean we can't deal with what we have with what we have, basically. And then I go into
the Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
Yeah, I pretty much go into things from the Quran and other pieces of literature that the Prophet put together, explaining the necessity of a consulate, basically, how it is constitutional and how it's something that every other nation has. So why don't we have it? Despite the fact that it is on our own land, but we are under occupation, so it has to be a venue to treat the diversity of citizenship issue, which is why you see me on camera sunning these Europeans, and then they try to take me away and scare other people. And you'll see cowards on Facebook saying, this is what happens when you claim to be a Moor. But they omit the fact that they let me out 10 minutes later, and I'm here speaking to you right now. So, that's additional information.
Caviar Emptor.
That's the first one?
Yeah, it says Caviar Emptor. No, you wrote a blurb about it. And then the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
Okay, got you.
And then Prophet warns all Muslims.
Mhm.
The Prophet has spoken. Prophet drew Ali to the nations.
Mhm.
A warning from the Prophet.
Mhm.
A divine warning by the Prophet for the nations.
Let's talk about we ain't 14th Amendment citizens.
Acts
So
of
we can't
State
vote.
Doctrine.
Oh yeah, the Acts of State doctrine is very important because it tells you that no government can judge another government's actions on their own homeland.
Mm-hmm.
So no Europeans can tell us what to do in our own homeland. You might want to know that because the Prophet said Moors were living up and down the Mississippi before any European got here.
Mm-hmm.
Acts of State doctrine is very important when we're dealing with international issues, which a state does that per the definition that I read earlier. So keep in mind, dealing with confidence here.
Sundry Free Moors Act of 1790.
Mm-hmm. Where Moors put on the record that they're not black, that they're Moors.
Quran questions for Moorish Americans.
Mm-hmm.
The next tab is a lot of people's favorite tab.
Caveat emptor. Is that the writs page?
Mm-hmm.
Writs page. So a writ is a command.
Look at the flick of the writ.
The first writ you see is dealing with quote unquote gun charges, which we already know about the prison industrial complex and how they're locking up dark-skinned Asiatics left and right because we're under military occupation by the pale-skinned nations of Europe who are committing genocide on our people, armed and a weapon. And I'm not in possession of any weapons. That's what that's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
A lot of people asked for a PDF of this.
And if you can't download it, just type it yourself.
Yep.
So you're learning.
Yep. I encourage you to type it because it forces you to read it.
And to
so
learn.
You know what you're standing on,
Mm-hmm.
what grounds,
Yep.
When you have to speak without that piece of paper.
Excuse me. Quick rant. Now, before I talk about this one, remember we went to House of Ram last time?
Mm-hmm.
And that woman was talking to me about how she didn't know what she was doing,
Uh-huh.
Right.
but she used the document anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and how, based on her not knowing what she was doing, other Moors around her had to kind of clean up her mess.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what you're doing with any of these documents,
Right.
don't use them. That's why it says caveat emptor.
Mm-hmm.
And
Know
if
what
you
you're
get in
getting
trouble
yourself
because you
into.
know what you're doing, you can't blame anyone else because you did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these say example.
Mm-hmm.
Example.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that I didn't use them or people didn't get them and use them for me and it worked or it didn't work. It just means this is an example. Caveat emptor.
So if I say, hey, I got this motorcycle over here.
Yeah.
You can ride it if you want,
You gotta inspect it.
but I hope
You know how to ride it. Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I got it.
Right.
That's on you.
Never been on a bike.
Had no idea there's more than one
Yep.
gear.
Yep.
Hurt yourself.
Mhm.
Well, you decided to jump on something you didn't know how to ride.
Mm-hmm. You're just too eager because.
You weren't thinking.
Mm.
The Prophet said, if I give you more thinking for yourself. But this quick rant is for the feudal lords acting like they own anything. If you're facing eviction and you got children and you can't be out on the snow, and this is used to help you, not just so you can just use it to not pay rent because you're gonna get a fight.
Right.
This is for you in self-defense.
Right.
Not so you can just start more problems in your life because you don't really know what you're doing. Right? Study what the job of the sheriff is, please. What's that next one? I can't see it.
Example of default affidavit.
Oh, an example of a default. This is just a blank, generic default. So again, if you don't know what you're reading, just study it and don't use it yet. Again, caveat emptor.
Yep.
But it's a default, so you learn the principles of what is being said, what cause and what effect is desired.
And we're actually going to be posting another class on the e-learning, deconstructing a writ. So that'll be coming soon.
Who's that next one right there?
Writ of discovery to the IRS.
Uh-oh. Dealing with do Moors pay taxes. Uh-oh. So you see, that when you're dealing with the writ of discovery, you're dealing with the right to basically know what you're being presented with, or knowing who you're talking to. So you're discovering information. So basically, it's saying, "Who are you? What are you talking about?" Right, and then basically it's saying, well, per the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8 says only Congress can lay and collect taxes. So are you Congress? And if so, prove it. And if you can't prove it, then obviously you can't collect taxes. So what's this conversation for? That's basically what it's saying. It sets you up to say that. Like, so why are we having this conversation? Like, if the Constitution says only Congress can lay and collect taxes, and then you get an email or letter in the mail from Riza Moore saying, well, you owe this. Wouldn't you write Riza Moore saying, well, are you Congress?
Right.
And if Riza Moore says, well, nah, but then you'll be like, so why are we having this conversation?
We don't have to talk about the proof of that.
Yeah. That's what that's saying, basically.
Next one, foreclosure.
Foreclosure, again.
Writ of discovery.
You have family and you have an estate and you're trying to protect that estate. This is what you can use to protect yourself. Now, I'm not at the liberty to say exactly who I use this for, but I can tell you that if you know what you're doing, these documents are effective.
Yeah.
Especially if you have multiple witnesses on these documents, because that shows these people that, oh, we're not just dealing with one nigger, we're dealing with competent Moors, who, if they actually bring us to court, we're going to be wasting so much time because we can just dismiss their issue because we can just deal with another incompetent nigger.
Talk about what it said and where you went.
The actual document that I used, or this one?
No, when you went to go check.
Oh, the city. You talking about the city hall? So, in this so-called state, Rhode Island, if they're trying to issue a foreclosure, they have to send you an intent to foreclose within 45 days per Rhode Island general laws. Also, in Rhode Island general laws, you have the right to what they call good faith, meaning you have the right to speak to a mediator with the so-called mortgage company to see if something is more feasible other than a foreclosure, because that's a good faith attempt to deal with contracts in equity, because people don't even know what equity is. So in order for them to actually do anything, it has to be on a county record, because that's public record. You know what I'm saying? So if they send you this intent to foreclose, but they never filed it on a county record, guess what they're doing? Just trying to scare you to get some fiat out of you. So if they send you that, and then you send them this, and you put that on the county record, or even if you don't put it on the county record, and nothing pops up on the county record that they're indeed doing this intent to foreclose, then guess what they're not doing? Foreclosing on your estate. Why? Because you displayed competence. You displayed a willingness to actually, you ain't taking my estate. And if you do, watch how it freeze over. Because look how many signatures I got on this contract, or on this writ, showing you it's not just one person you're dealing with. So and so Esquire, which you ain't no GD Esquire on my ancestral estate. You might want to recognize you're talking to an L or a Bay who ain't playing. So let's just be caveat emptor. And
You don't know what
be
you're
a
doing.
coward.
Study.
Exactly. Don't be a coward if you don't know. Just study. And I don't mean to be that aggressive, but there are certain. Never mind.
No, it's necessary.
Yeah, you're right. It is necessary because there are cowards who are ruining things.
Yep.
Who are putting so much fear into people that they're making more cowards because they're cowards.
Right.
So just fight for what is right. Because if you're really studying, the Quran would care, the Quran would care. Like, remember Todd in class talking about, oh, they're really punching me in the face. Like, yeah.
Oh, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's not training. And the last page is hyperlinks to YouTube, email, Instagram, and Facebook.
Hey.
Do they have any questions?
Oh, yeah, any questions? It's only been that long?
Only 2 hours?
Oh,
You're like, that's it?
Mine says 34 minutes.
It's 2 hours. Refresh it.
Yeah, it does. I wonder if it stopped at some point.
Refresh it.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, study, study, study. And if you ask me what to study next, study yourselves. Now, what does that mean? Study your higher self and your lower self. What else? What else does that mean? Study the people around you. What else does that mean? Study your own history. It's more than just face value. That's really what being Kabbalistic is. Everything's a metaphor. Everything's not literal. Even things that are literal aren't literal. Any other points? Oh, those.
And it's not just. Sorry, I want to touch on that a little bit more. In studying yourself, figure out why, or try to figure out why you are the way that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Study your parents. Study your parents'
Oh,
parents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Learn the cycles.
That needs to be a future
Can I add this?
Yeah.
podcast.
Ask your mother what she was doing while you were in the womb, and you'll figure out that's why you are the way you are.
Right. What she was going through.
Consider their situations, their traumas, their customs, whatever it may be. Take that into consideration. Take into consideration how they were raised. Take into consideration their environment.
But especially while you were in the womb.
Right.
Because I was asking my mother, what are you eating? What are you doing?
Right.
And I love those foods, and I love doing that, what she was doing. Like, it's almost unbelievable. But ask.
You want your children to be your 2.0. And that's also our own jobs to make sure that we make our parents proud by, surpassing them. That's really what it's about.
I like that 2 Chainz song. I thought that made my mom proud.
Right.
Mama ain't raised no hope. That song was amazing. Like, the video was amazing because they got their mothers involved, and although some of the language
we don't condone.
Yeah, but the fact that they
tried.
It
was about the spirit of the song.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Yep.
I thought that was beautiful. I love that song. Just I love the video, I should say. Just to see the mothers involved. And 2 Chainz' mom looks just like a
2 Chainz, 4%. You want to close out?
Driving around in false spaceships. Do the people want me
He
to?
never wants to close
I know.
out. He never wants to end the conversation.
Come on, man.
Never wants to stop doing what he's doing.
Why do you believe
we got to close out because I got some grand risings tomorrow morning.
Nah, you don't.
At the crack of dawn.
So if we keep studying, what are people saying?
They said they don't want to hear you speak anymore. And
I'll check the comments myself.
What?
They said, let my people go.
What questions do you have? What do you think needs to be touched on? Just give us.
Somebody said, when's the next time?
When's the next time? Well, right now it is 10:51. The next time will be 10:52.
I'm assuming that when's the next time we're coming on? We kind of just do it when we feel like it.
Yeah, unless it's scheduled.
Because it makes us happy. And sometimes we just want to share our private discussions.
Since you can't come out here right now.
Yeah.
But you're working on it. Again, you're looking for apartments and houses in so-called Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
And
they got the Google open on
site. In the same area, and y'all don't mind being roommates. Why not split their rent?
Your blood.
We're all having roommates, especially if they more than they woke, and we can defend each other's estate and put these Europeans in their place together. Because we're the unity, their strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. You have race, pride, love, and race, on one side of America, because then you know who you are, who your forefathers were.
Wow, that was just sound like an infomercial. The end of an infomercial.
Buy this drug, but it's gonna kill you. You're gonna die. That's not gonna happen if you come down here. What are they really saying?
Your hair is your identity.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Oh, you're gonna show them the focus?
No. Leave
You don't
it.
want to see what's happening.
Oh man.
If you come down here, you get the top secret.
Right, that's after all.
Rise of the Mortals after hours uncut.
Yeah. You can see what we really talk about.
Uncut.
Come here so you can really
The real topic
Yeah.
after the add up chamber topic is what's under that fence.
You don't want it.
Somebody said, thank you for your time. I love when people appreciate what we do. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your time because you're paying
Right.
attention for 2
Yes.
hours. of
Right.
us
Yes.
talking and
Thank
joking.
you for watching and listening and
Yes.
contributing.
Because y'all are the people that give us value. You know what I mean? Like, because if we were just doing these videos, no one would be watching.
Yep.
And no one was watching, it would have no value. The people give it the value.
Yep.
The people have all the power.
Mhm.
And that's what they need to know.
Yeah, because we don't want to make videos, go home, and then watch them.
Then
We don't only
one
view.
Oh yeah, we really watched ourselves.
Mm.
Okay.
Somebody said, truly is my hair rises towards the sun.
That's because the word gravity etymologically only means weight. It's not a force that pulls down. That's why, like, if I take my fez off, my hair can stand up straight because it can support its own weight. Because gravity means weight. It's not a force that pulls down. Because if it was a force that pulls down, hair wouldn't go straight up.
Yep.
But you know, that's Prop said if you can use your 5 senses, do so. Because the sun ain't as far as you
He said, hey, he knows.
Because the sun ain't as far as you
We all know.
And then check this out. Isn't this a? I'm not gonna say anything. All I'm saying is this is a flat surface. That's all I'm saying is that this is a flat surface. All I'm saying is that this circle thing that represents the sun is above it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks for your transparency
You know,
and
like
making
clock.
things clear.
Oh, destiny.
You know how the hands go around the clock?
Thanks for your transparency and making things clear. This is all still new to me, and the info you are on your site is helping me to use my own mind.
That's great.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
That's exactly why we do this.
Congratulations.
Mhm.
Thank you for freeing yourself.
Mhm.
Because we really do nothing.
And you're not alone.
Mhm.
Yes, that's
You're
important.
not alone.
You're not alone.
You know what I was taught in boot camp? One of the I forgot what his rank. I forgot what his position was. But he was like, I forgot what he was. But he was in charge of a lot of people.
Mhm.
He said, you know what, Marines? You are never alone because you have the blood of your mother and father pumping through your veins. So how can you be alone?
Yep.
Remember that.
Electricity is in hair.
Mhm.
Honest to
No.
Jamal and crew, getting closer.
Rise of
Them
Lords.
notifications weren't on. I'm so sorry. You have to click the bell on your next to your subscribe so you get a notification every time we go live.
And we'll try not to bombard the people with videos because it's very hard to keep up. with
Yeah, we understand you guys have lives and try to fit us into.
Can't sit with them.
Try to give you value.
Let us know if you guys like the screen share.
Oh, let us know if you're trying to move out here too.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
Also, just to touch on it again,
Zillow.com. Oh.
that too. Craigslist. If there are any Moorish women, we don't have a male one going yet, but if there are any Moorish women who want to join the Moorish Women's Auxiliary Group,
I don't really think we
DM.
need a male one because we got a lot of males
yeah, we
talking.
got a lot of it. But we're all we have, and we take care of each other. Link up with each other. Find each other. Be pen pals. Speak with each other because it can be lonely. You are not alone. Reach out to each other. Don't be so prideful. Don't be so scared to talk to other people.
That's
They
why.
want to talk to you too.
That's why I tell you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Always shout out where you are and exchange emails.
We're in SoCal, Rhode Island, by the way.
Right.
Somebody said Georgia's here.
Nice.
Does the Moorish American Consulate operate under the Great Seal? And will the site be gov soon?
Finish the thing.
Well, I don't want to talk too much about that. There are certain people who are part of Great Seal who are assisting with the Moorish American Consulate. And there is a Moorish American Consulate website. MoorishAmericanConsulate.org. So that's basically.
We got Bronx in the house. We got Lake Tahoe, Georgia State Republic,
That's the second Georgia.
Arkansas, New Jersey. New Jersey and New York ain't far. Maryland Republic.
People. Introduce yourselves.
Yep. Connecticut territory, not too far from us.
Right, come out here.
Connecticut is part of the Narragansett territory.
Yep.
Also, we have
Buffalo, New York,
Maps that prove it.
Washington State. If you see someone, shout out where you're from. I know we're using this fraudulent names, but for the purposes of, making everything easy for each other. If you see somebody, shout out your area, try to connect with them. Minnesota. Baltimore.
That was an invitation.
You know why I'm jealous of Jamal? He's surrounded by intelligent women.
EYE. Sense that.
I can't lie.
No, don't be jealous. Nothing to be jealous about.
Come out
there, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then,
you know what?
For you.
And then when she bakes vegan cookies, you can get some too.
You know what?
All the vegan
Don't be jealous. Share your intelligence with the women around you, and you'll be surprised because we need to let them know that it's okay to be intelligent, and then they'll stop hiding it.
Seek counsel from us. Just
talked about in the Quran.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, facts. I got 7 sisters already, and I'm trying.
Squad goals.
Yep.
7.
Yep. You'd be surprised how many women are very intelligent, but these men made it uncool, undesirable
to be friends with or to communicate with women that they're not involved with.
And watch, you'll get all the ladies when you allow them to be who they are.
Don't say that.
I mean, it's true. You'll get more options when you allow women to, be equally intelligent.
I know you was joking because I know you.
I know. Ladies. Islam, sisters.
1-800 right. This ain't one of those things.
Philly loves you guys. Thank you, Philly.
Thank you. We love you too.
We love you more.
Indiana territory. People are shouting out. So,
if y'all don't link up,
get in a private message, please.
You really don't want to meet up. You really don't want to rise.
Right.
And if you link up and that person, you don't really feel that energy, that's fine.
Yeah. You're not stuck with that person, but hey, I'm here.
You can share information and maybe take something from each other.
You know what's funny?
Give and take.
We have Moors that we don't really. They're here and they don't really hang out with us, but sure enough, they show up to court when we're in court, and they're silent but they're present.
Right.
And also, sure enough, we go eat where they own a restaurant because we will eat there before we eat anywhere else. What's tonight's discussion about? It'll once we end it, you can rewatch it.
Yeah.
It was about a lot of things, honestly. Yes. Took a turn.
Yes. My bad. Sometimes I get old.
I would like more information on joining the auxiliary.
Ooh.
Juju.
Oh, you can. I'm private, so you can request to DM me, and I can add you in.
You want to type in your thing?
Oh yeah, Janae. 1 second.
She's about to type in her Instagram so you can hashtag follow her and hashtag DM her about the hashtag. Hashtag.
Oh wait, is that a reference to Islam?
Islam? Islamism?
Should we do a discussion about that next time?
We kind of did already talk about it.
Next time we'll do about people using Islam in between every other word.
Oh.
Basically, people losing themselves after they found themselves, which is a lie. You can't do both.
Yep.
It's either you found yourself or you didn't. But people like typing EYE on social media, knowing that if they type a resume for a job or anything,
Yeah.
they won't be writing like that, or they won't even talk like that at an interview. Nothing like that. So why do that? And why say Islam after every 3 words when you don't?
Islam
talk
means
like that?
peace.
Yeah.
So we're losing the definition, using it so much.
Right.
Using it
Inappropriately, yeah.
Because you're trying to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
which I self-love master is not about fitting in. It's about mastering yourself. So what are you doing?
See, now somebody uses it correctly. Great class. Appreciate y'all. Islam. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
If any females wanna join the Women's Auxiliary chat group on Instagram, it's _revolutionary_dreamer. Posted up under Rising Moors in the chat section.
Y'all need dictionaries.
Do you wanna? Let's see.
I was thinking about my book, my 3rd book.
Stop giving away all the stuff.
I know.
A little clip. What do you think about
No. Wait till you release the second.
It's just
Because we already talked about the 5th we
this
wrote
one is-
today.
This one is completely different.
I'm holding on to these keys like
Yeah.
this. Don't make me drop
No,
them.
don't do it. Don't do it.
All right. Since my 2nd book is on the way, it's called Moorish Dominions, and it basically shows you how Africa and America is, in fact, Moorish dominions. And I reference certain books that explain how Masonry is indebted to the continent of America, because the continent of America was the original Egypt, or Kemet. I also go into how during Pangea, the earth was connected. And I reference this scholar from the University of Florida who revealed that there's plates under Florida and Georgia that have remnants of Northwest Africa.
Look more into geology because
The earth don't lie.
right.
Just like Shakira's hips don't lie.
The earth don't lie.
The earth don't lie. The earth's curves don't lie.
I was telling today about how back when I was in college still, I like geology. So were you here when I told you this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so my geology teacher she was great. She got recognized by the school. She wrote the textbook. She had this little display out in the lobby, and I found out about an area that has rocks it's only in this one area, in this one city here in Rhode Island, and you can't find this particular rock anywhere else but on the other side of the world. And that goes to show you how we were connected at one point.
Same tectonic plate.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody said, can you post a list of books to read on risingboys.org?
Click on books and you'll see a list right there.
Yep. And if you join in the e-learning classes, it has sources to everything covered in the class, so you can follow along all the readings, all the books, all the goodness, all the sauce.
Also in Moorish Dominions, I talk about how Europeans admit that the reason why they called us Indians was only to portray a story to fill the void in the minds of the people. That's it. Europeans admit that. And then I also talk about in my book how the seat of the Narragansett Confederacy here in so-called Rhode Island, which extends all of Connecticut, all of Massachusetts, and parts of New Hampshire, basically all of New Hampshire. The seat of the government was Mount Hope Bay, B-E-Y. Now, why any Indians calling their seat of power Bay? That don't make sense. So let's prove that it is Moorish dominions, and that the culture is the same. Because even Roger Williams, who certain so-called chiefs honor, who infiltrated the tribe, meaning he came as a friend and his actions proved that he was an enemy, said that his name not only will be famous amongst the Gentiles, and now we have Roger Williams Park, Roger Williams University, Roger Williams Elementary School, Roger Williams College, all this Roger Williams housing, which suppresses our people. But Roger Williams himself wrote in his book that the culture of the Native Americans is similar to the Hebrew. Talking about in Africa, even though we know Hebrew means to cross over and we are the Hebrew, but he's connecting you again to Africa. Because Hebrew is really Canaanite text, which is really Moorish. So he's connecting the so-called Indian languages to Moorish, Aramaic, African, Arabic languages.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself connects the culture.
Right.
And I talk about that in my book. I also reference certain documents that prove that certain Indians are sellouts because it's public information.
Mm.
I also reference certain articles from the Library of Congress that specifically talks about Moors and our power here from the Library of Congress. So you can't really escape that with any so-called Indian BS. And that's in my second book, Moorish Dominions. My third book has that fire. Which my second book is pretty fire.
Can you give out the title?
My third book? Nah, I can't give out the title.
No, not yet.
Because then someone's going to steal it.
Yeah.
But if I'm already printing it, then obviously copyright. So, wow. Can't steal it. Because when you're dealing with copyrights, you have to deal with a record. If I'm getting my book printed with this name from this company, and someone wants to take me to court talking about they own anything, well, the record says this. What do your record say? So that's another way to copyright stuff.
Somebody said treaties on forced arrest and false imprisonment is a good read. Made from what book is the quote you made from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali on the immunization?
Oh, what was it? I think it was the oral statements from the Prophet. He may have said, "Keep your bodies clean and pure of water." There. Well, also if you just search online, like the Mukarrabin files or something like that, or you should be able to find it online. I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe if you go to rvbaypublications.com and look up Moorish literature, because they have quotes from newspaper articles, you might be able to find it there, but I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Excuse me, but still, if you just read the Quran, it'll tell you to keep your body pure.
Mm. Are copyrights covered with the business plan? No, but we can do a separate document for that.
I mean, what's a copyright? Let's just talk about it briefly. Because these are basic, this is what you can do to copyright something.
Yeah, it's...
If you create something and you want to call it this thing, you can say, on this date, I created this thing called this, right? Sign it, have a witness, 2 witnesses, 500 witnesses if you want. And then send it in the mail to yourself and then open it. Because now you have record. So if anyone else who doesn't know what date you put on that, and that's unopened mail, and they want to bring you to court saying they own something and their date is earlier than yours,
Send it to certified mail.
you have the rights.
Yep. They're probably wanting, like, if you want a template, what exactly to write, let us know.
So we all thought that was our phone. Let me just look up copyright real quick.
I thought it was
That was my phone giving its last breath.
But I'm
done.
Y'all talk too much. LMNOP. Also, when you're looking up stuff, don't be like, oh, I still gotta do alphabet in my head. I do the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I count on my fingers too. Don't judge yourself on none of that.
Don't have no shame in your game.
Whatever
the point is you're doing it.
Yep.
And be proud of the fact that you're actually doing it.
Right.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how ugly it looks.
Copyright.
Detroit in the house.
The right of literary property as recognized and sanctioned by positive law. What's positive law? You're dealing with equity. What's fair? Fair is that person has an older date on their documents proving that they had it before you did, so you don't have copyrights.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. An intangible, incorporeal right granted by statute to the author or originator of certain literary or artistic productions, whereby he is invested for a limited period with the sole and exclusive privilege of multiplying copies of the same and publishing and selling them. Copyright protection subsists in original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium, meaning physical, tangible, I can touch this, of expression, now known or later developed, from which they can be perceived, reproduced, or otherwise communicated either directly or with the aid of a machine or device. That's pretty simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I should have to explain that.
Do you more sign name correction and proclamation papers?
Yes, we do. Come see us and we will.
Mm-hmm.
Because a witness means, you know, W-I-V-I, that means vision.
Mm-hmm.
So if you sign something at your house and then we see a paper in our mailbox, we didn't see you sign that, so we're not witnesses. But if you physically bring your body and then you sign it, then we're a witness.
Mm. You want to close out?
Corn law. Well, let me read corn
No.
law.
Come on.
Are you sure? Because this corn law looks pretty. Oh, look, it says Tarif in it.
He says, "Can you sign via video chat?"
What? Look, it says Tarif. Can we talk about Tarif real quick?
Tarif?
Or Tarif. Tarif was part of the Umayyad Caliphate with Tariq ibn Zayed, Rock of Gibraltar, 711 AD, right? He was one of the scouts for General Tariq, who went into Al-Andalus before the main body, and he's the reason why it was so easy. But it was basically, he was recon. And after we established a stronghold in Al-Andalus, once we started to administrate the commerce, Tarif made it so all European products, a percentage of what they were making had to go to us. So they basically called taxes Tarifs because he was enforcing it.
Wow.
So now when you see like the United States putting tariffs on Mexico and Mexico doing the same thing, they got it from us.
Wow.
So Europeans ain't create nothing.
What book is
Corn
that?
law.
What book is that you're reading?
This is Black's Law Dictionary with pronunciations, 5th edition.
Can you show the cover?
Corn products case. Let's read that one.
He's just gonna read the whole dictionary, so we won't close out.
Yes, you can't afford it. I just read it to you.
Ooh, that shine.
And his name is Henry Campbell Black. This isn't like some black guy. Because black people don't know law. Let's just be correct. Henry Campbell Black. You see that?
This
light is great.
Right.
Anyway, you can get on Amazon. Go to every court is supposed to have a library in it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in so-called Providence, Rhode Island, and you go to so-called Supreme Court or Superior Court, located at 250 Benefit Street, go to the 8th floor, and you just ask the clerk for Black's Law Dictionary, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They'll show you exactly where it is. And then you might even see certain so-called politicians, certain so-called Indian chiefs coming in and out of that building, meaning they know this information too.
Judges,
but
lawyers.
Anyway, yeah, and even if you go to so-called One Dorrance Plaza, so-called 6th District Court, which ain't District Court, it's 6th District Court, not District Court, 6th District Court. Go to the top floor, and they have a library there too with Black's Law 10th edition. So they all have Black's Law Dictionary, all of them. All of them. Yep. Go to any attorney's office, look in their library, and you'll see this book.
Yep. So if you don't have the means to get these books,
and if you think that
go to a court.
And if you think that they don't know,
yep,
you're sadly mistaken.
Every courthouse has a law library. So if you don't have the means, it's open to the public.
And so, but you know what's very interesting about that? When you go to the main place where they be taking us, Moore's. The top floor, I think it's like 6th floor. It says attorneys can't be in here with their clients.
Yep.
Because they're not supposed to help you.
Yep.
And they basically say it right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Attorneys can't be in this room with their
They're
clients.
just the policy enforcers. They don't work for you.
And because the word "turn" means to turn over, because they're turning you over to the Inquisition, which when you read Inquisition, Reign of Fear by Toby Green, they tell you that the Europeans been doing that.
Right.
So their chosen panel of lawyers, which they call the Bar Association, that's how they rob you. That's how you can do with it.
Islam Moors.
That's a shame.
Your efforts I recognize. Much love and respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace. I love that. I love you. Give me a hug. Virtual
Come
hug.
here.
This isn't Jesus.
Oh, somebody said that that Noble Drew Ali quote was from the Divine Constitution Bylaws Act 7.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do-do-do-do-do.
Great.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't want to leave.
No, it's time, but I gotta go right now.
I'm not doing right now.
All right, sign out.
This,
Quit playing. Another thing, if you look in the back.
let me scramble for so let me find something. Clear and present danger doctrine. That's just clear.
Look, somebody said peace to you.
Peace.
Go.
Go away.
That's something you leave. You say when you're leaving.
No. They're saying
Peace.
They're saying peace.
Peace.
I come in peace. Yeah.
Oh, they just got in here.
Yeah. They just tuned in. They're just reading.
Oh yeah.
Oh look. Oh, before we go.
Come on.
No. Let's just
Not
break down-
real.
No, let's do it grammar for a second. And syntax and semantics, which a lot of these educated people want to stay away from.
Mm.
This will kind of be in Jamal's third book, by the
Kind
way.
of? No, it will be.
It will be.
It's
Yeah.
punching you in the
It's
face.
very
Ah!
good.
You know what a guttural is? No, I'm playing. All right, so on page 286 of this book, right? Black's Law Dictionary, 5th edition. It says consul, an officer of a commercial character. What is of in grammar? It's a preposition, right? Meaning it's a substantive connector, right? Which means it's connecting two clauses that are independent, that can stand by themselves, right? So in language, in grammar, when dealing with semantics and etymology, the true definitions of words, you can, knowing the 8 parts of speech, you're able to break down what the sentence is really saying.
Mm-hmm.
So it says consul, an officer of a commercial character, meaning where it says of, that can be replaced with a period.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning consul, an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Period.
Mm.
But they'll say of a commercial character and try to negate that we shouldn't be doing that.
Mm.
Or in certain dictionaries, it'll say an agent of a Roman court.
Mm.
And they try to say because it says Roman that it doesn't apply. But of is a substantive connector, a parts of speech, meaning they're an agent and that could stand alone.
Mm-hmm.
But since they don't know how to read,
Mm-hmm.
they say, oh, it's an agent of a Roman court,
Mm-hmm.
meaning it only has to deal with Rome
Mm-hmm.
because they're stupid. And let's just call it what it is. They're dumb.
Right.
Because they're acting like they know how to read, but they don't know what a preposition is.
Read things multiple times
Mhm.
with your dictionaries, because as you continue on your
Journey.
and in your studies, things will, as you come more and more into different types of knowledge, things will make more sense to you in different types of ways. So you can read it once and understand it a certain way, but the next time you read it, you'll see it from a completely different
Mhm.
perspective.
Because you're a different person.
Right.
Because we're always growing.
Right.
So please pay attention to grammar. And if any so-called scholar or anyone's trying to debate you talks about, well, you're using semantics, you're using syntax,
Mhm.
just bring out what's it? Let me see. You can break out this dictionary.
Somebody said, yo, y'all have been on for this long, for real? Licenses and attorney are different. Constitution, bylaws they follow.
He's gotta go into the lair real quick. Hold on. Maybe I should let do your scientist.
This is the library.
Master.
The plans. All right. So anyone trying to debate you on anything who's trying to act like they're smart, get this the American Heritage Dictionary, and you'll see in the back where they talk about this is a regular dictionary. I think I got it for like 20 notes on Amazon. Oh,
the guy that says we've been on it for this long, he was mad he missed stuff.
This says grammar.
You'll be able to rewatch it.
Syntax, right? So syntax is a part of grammar. Then keep going. What's right here? Semantics. So anyone talking about you're talking semantics, they don't understand that it's part of grammar. It's part of just basic speaking. Be specific. What are you talking about? Right? Then when you break down the definition of the word grammar, excuse my butt and face, the definition of the word grammar comes from gram, right? Which when you study the etymology, it shows you how it means to carve, right? Which is the meta-netta, right? Which is Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? Because the word gram means glyph, which glyph means to carve. You know what I'm saying? So if you're dealing with grammar and semantics and syntax, and you claim to be an African black scholar, but you refute it, then you're rejecting comedic science. So let's not be stupid. And with that, I say peace.